thing?
We are alive. Now I got to click on this thing to make this work.
Coming to you in 4,545 kbits per second.
Hello, everybody.
It's Friday night, and we are the cleanup crew.
We're the cleanup crew, and man,
we're getting an early start because it's a mess.
And we need to clean up.
We have been working till we drop. And by drop, I mean all the tools on the floor when we're done. And then we go.
I kept putting tools away, and then I'd look back and they have the same tools back out again.
I keep getting the same tools back out while I'm working. And there's a pile of tools that I was like, man, I should put. Wait, no, this is the exact thing I need next. I've got too many things going at once. When you got multiple things going, then you have multiple piles of tools. And I can't keep putting everything back while I'm working because I just end up going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So, anyways.
So, Raw Dog.
I make messes.
Raw Dog, yeah, I saw that video. I guess I wrote that there and saw it. Space Cat, good evening. Retired Inspector Bruce W., good evening. How you doing? Man, you and I are going to have to get together sometime. It's been a while. It's been like 50 years since we did a road trip together. Let's see. 38 Racing. Hey, hey. Mike N's here. Hippie Long's here.
You guys are here early. We're not even started yet.
Yeah, we didn't want to step on Tour Angie.
No, that's not why. We were lazy.
Well, we just didn't. No, I didn't want to.
We're cleanup crew. We're not jumping in.
We're on John Wilburn's and Tour Angie.
It's Friday night.
Then came to the shop.
I got this fire started a couple hours ago. We're at 65 degrees, holding at 65 degrees in the cold back corner of the shop, so we should be okay. And I just pumped up the fireplace. It should start putting out a bunch of heat, so we're good for heat. And we're having all the great success. I don't know about great success, but we're moving along. Things are plowing forward. The night shift, that's right.
We're definitely the night shift.
Third shift. We're here to work till dawn. No.
And we're not working that late.
We are here for your viewing enjoyment. Working in the shop, we're here with the Studebaker above me.
Oh, yeah.
Bing!
I'm looking up there. It's up there
with
on the screen.
78 Mercury Zephyr. With the Coleman 200 BTXG FYZ. All the letters. Mini bike that we're working on. I had great success today with my dart. Do you want me to tell you about it, or you want to wait till...
They're right. Hippie Long says there's some powder in the bottom of the...
The water's too cold.
Maybe the water's too cold. It didn't mix up well. You're right.
Flip it over.
What? Yeah, I guess I'm sort of doing that.
Okay,
Maybe it was punch in. What have you been watching? Dee Speed Shop?
He's got the punch card.
Dee Speed Shop put a punch clock in, and he goes over there once in a while, punches in or punches out.
I think that's a cool gimmick.
That's funny, yeah. I want one.
I think we should set up the rotary phone.
A rotary phone?
We have the phone. You check the landline.
Do we have a rotary phone? We could put it between here and the house instead of these little walkie-talkies. Mike
N., I will award you 3 points for making the first 9:30 p.m. You're here. You are here at the assigned start time.
That's when we were supposed to go live, but we clicked on a couple minutes early.
And nobody else is saying anything.
They're all quiet tonight.
What's going on? Who else is streaming tonight? Who are we on top of or alongside? Please don't let it be like, Please don't let it be like Dead Dodge Garage or Vice Grip Garage or Pole Barn Garage. Like, then we don't get nothing. No one comes in to say, everyone says hello and then leaves again. That's all what they did. They came in to get their points and then they left.
And they want their points.
Get a party line for the rotary phone. There you go. We could
party
do
line.
That. We could
Man,
do that.
I don't know how old you are, Mike. When I was a kid, we had a party line. And we didn't have all the different rings and everything. Our phone would ring, so they had that sorted out. But if you picked up the phone to make a call, a lot of times you heard somebody on there talking, and you're supposed to hang up. And, God, my mother and the woman that lived behind us somehow, at some point, when I was a kid, they ended up on the same party line, and they spend all day on the phone, so they were really in each other's way. So, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Buddy Carfano, you get 2 points. And Mrs. One-Eyed Cat, Wendy English, is here, and she gets a point for being the third person here from the start of the stream. Although there's other people here, they're not commenting. They're probably watching something else. Does anybody else do that? Watch 3 different things at the same time and just click, 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 back and forth, listen, watch?
Oh, I thought I was going to sneeze.
Hippie Long says, I remember party lines and letters for numbers. Oh, the letters for numbers things went on for a long time, but party lines were gone even when I was a little kid. They told me about them, but we always had our own phone number that was an independent line.
When I was a kid, my phone number was
Jimmy's here. Hi.
It was LI3, Liberty 3.
Really?
6667. And at some point, they changed it to 543. Why are they changing it? My mother's like, they didn't change it. You don't say Liberty anymore. Okay.
One-Eyed Cat channel. Don is also here. He's busy taping off a set of rims. Well, all righty. We look forward to seeing some freshly painted rims on the car. Which car are they for, Don? Or don't answer right now if you're busy. So, productive night. We had a productive afternoon. He had to go and see some people and get some paperwork filed, and that went good for him. So I was glad to see that he.
Yeah, my day went well, and then Kim was.
He was up early, so he took a mid-afternoon siesta while I come out to work on my dart. Now I had already pulled one of the front wheels a few days ago. And I found a problem with the retainer springs. What are those called? Help me with this.
Hold down springs?
Okay.
Drum brakes. Who knows about drum brakes?
I'm going to get front drum brakes.
66
visual examples.
66 dart with drum brakes. Oh, you're bringing a whole thing.
Well,
cool. You're using it.
Yeah, I ran outside with this so I'd have everything I needed.
It's all full of leaves and crud.
Yeah,
that's because the wind was blowing so darn hard.
It was. It's a mess out
We
there.
were out there trying to do this.
Everybody knows this. If you've ever touched drum brakes, you know exactly what this part is and how it works. Okay? And so you got this little, can they see? Oh, I'm pretty far away. You got this little round washer. Can you imagine trying to watch on your phone how little we are? You got this little round washer, right? And it's got this spring.
Except you got to get it backwards.
And it's annoying, but you don't think too much about what it does. It holds the pad, the brake pad.
The shoe,
to the backing plate. Well, what happens if your car, truck, van, whatever, is 8 years old, 57 years old, pretty damn old. And they're a little bit, this is the methodology that Chrysler used back in '66. These are original brake retainer springs.
Yeah, the retainers.
Okay? And these springs, well, they've lost their spring. So when you hit the brakes, the shoe energizes and it pulls away.
It cocks sideways.
And it cocks sideways because of the other springs pulling on it. And then it doesn't let go. So I had my brakes were hanging and I had to change out. I bought a couple of these hardware kits. They're about $8 or $9 or whatever for all the springs for one axle.
Of course, you can't get the ones for the dart.
No, you can't get the ones for the dart, but I mean, they're all kind of interchangeable to some degree. So I found a set of pins and
It's some for a Ford truck or Ranger.
Yeah, like
or
a
something.
Ford truck.
And they work just fine.
The important thing is you get the right width of shoe and the right diameter of drum, and all the springs will be damn close. You can almost interchange them at that point. So, in a hurry before it got dark today, I got the other side done. But while I took it apart, this is the part that I didn't tell you about. I took it apart and looked at the shoes. And I have just had this apart because it needed new bearings because it was howling So I put new races and bearings in the front hub on that side when I had the motor out.
That was the side I repacked.
Yeah.
She was out there, and the wind
fresh.
blowing and dirt blowing and leaves.
No, the other side.
Okay, that was the first side. And so I came in the shop because she was outside because the mercury's in here. So I repacked the bearings and wrapped them all up in rags and took them out there so they wouldn't get all the crud in the bearings, and she got it all back together. And then, of course, the other side was bad. So we only got one side done that day. So now, today, you're working on the
38 Racing asks, have you checked for grooves worn in the backing plates? I took a wire brush and brushed off all the little mounts on the backing plate where the shoes run, and then put a little bit of anti-seize on them so they don't rust and so they're a little bit lubricated. So, yeah, no, they're good.
Yeah, the problem was the shoe would pull away from the backing plate. And then
cock sideways.
And then that would make that side pull like crazy.
But get this. On this side, and I just had it apart, and I should have seen this, but I don't always have my eyes open. I get distracted. I'm talking to the stream instead of paying attention to what I'm doing, or I'm in a big hurry. It's got two primary shoes.
Which one?
The driver's side. Not the one we did, the one I did by myself.
Somebody did it wrong. Yeah. Oh, so one of your back brakes probably has. Are they
no,
because
the back brakes are narrower.
Oh, and the back brakes are Ford anyway.
And the shoes were not the same brand on the right side.
So we got to buy
shoes
side. Now.
Well, no. What I did is I dragged the vise outside, and I took the cutting wheel and I compared it to a different primary shoe, and I cut the pad off to the length that a primary shoe should be. And then I put the new springs in.
It had two secondary shoes.
Yeah.
It had two long. Okay.
It had two of the long shoes.
Yeah, because the primary is always going to be shorter. Yeah.
Right. It had two long shoes, so you think that's like all. There's no. It wasn't releasing, and that may have been part of the problem. Although the springs are definitely a problem.
So you got it back to you. Did you drive it?
Yep.
How is it? Go straight. It doesn't stick.
It's a little fussy still. I think I need. And then my alternator does not charge at idle, which sucks. But I did take it for a couple miles, maybe 3-4 miles.
Oh, really?
Took it like 2 miles out. I went out.
How'd the car drive? How'd the transmission work? Oh, this is the
longest. Curious.
This is the best drive since we put the engine.
I haven't gone past the end of the block since.
How was your car with an automatic transmission in it?
It's fantastic. It is better. I like it more. I really do. I know the 3 on the tree is cute and all that, but it's just.
Kim's 20-something years younger than me, so I get in a car at 3 on a tree. It just seems normal. That's how I learned to drive. She gets in there. It's like she's got a. So let's see now. How does this work? I said, just like on the floor, but it's up here, and she's like kind of works with it, knows how to use it, but it doesn't come automatic like it does with me. When she put the automatic in there, I knew she'd like it better.
So. The transmission shifts fantastic. If you get on it, it holds a little while and then shifts nice and I mean, it's a nice firm shift. Boom! You feel it. It's got the pressure's turned up good. It's not like one of those soft shifts where it's going to burn up clutches or anything like that. The car doesn't feel nearly as heavy without the brakes dragging. Go figure. The engine is very responsive. You give it a little gas and it goes more. Give it a little. The torque converter stalls out at a real good range, what I would expect. It's a little bit higher than a V8 would be, but it's taking advantage of the Science 6. And I think the engine feels strong. And go figure, it doesn't spew smoke and oil out the back of it now that the engine has been all completely rebuilt.
It doesn't have massive blow by anymore, man. Oh,
B&R Racing says your Dart has self-energizing drum brakes, Kim. Short primary shoe, long secondary shoe layout. Right.
Well,
and whoever put it in, which was me, I was the last one in there, and I did not recognize that the short primary shoe was a long secondary shoe. So I cut it down. I cut the pad down so that it would. Because they're the same left to right. The shoes are.
38 says sometimes the primary and secondary shoes are different thicknesses. Not only that, see, The brake shop I worked in, 1971, 72, back then, I did the relining, a lot of the relining. And not only is it different thickness, it's different material. So the primary shoe is a different, and I could see it because it's a little different color, but we had to be careful. And we cut the length we needed, and then we drilled them and riveted them, and then arc them to the same, actually under arc them to the drum, because, and the reason you under arc, the primary chute comes out like this and goes down, and it energizes this chute, pushes this one into the drum. But if you under arc the shoes a little bit, there's something else going on there too, and that it distorts the drum. The drum distorts by 30 or 40 thousandths. It takes a lot of energy to keep that drum out around while you're stepping on the brakes, and that dissipates a lot of energy. So I was taught to under arc. If they're arced the wrong direction, they'll squeal like hell. Roar! You can hear it blocks away. So yeah, drum brakes were my thing back then.
It stops convincingly. The brake system is working really good. I'm glad about that. It sits around a lot, and we have been through a lot of things, but sometimes you may miss things. I mean, I miss things. If you would have stopped me at any point while I was working and said, "What's wrong with those shoes?" I would have noticed. But my focus was on getting it back together, not looking at the. And the other thing, they're worn down enough that if one's supposed to be thicker or whatever, it doesn't matter because there's plenty of extra adjustment. And I do need new brakes, but I want to go to disc brakes on the front of the car and update to a dual master with the whole thing. So I don't want to keep throwing money at this system, but it's working now. I could drive the car. I would not be afraid to take it to town now. Whereas before, it was just, it's like you can't drive with one of the brakes hanging up. It's a bad thing. All right, I missed a couple of comments, so I want to go through them real quick. Olive is here. Welcome to the stream. You were not that late, Olive. We started just a few minutes early.
Yeah, we started early too.
And we're talking about the Dart a little bit. And Cat says he's working on 2 sets of wheels. He already taped the aluminum slots because he has to change the backside from black to white. And then he has a set for Ron's Grand Am. It needs red accents taped and painted cherry red. That sounds like it's going to look great. Good luck with that. Keep on working. Make a little short about painting the wheels. That's a good content. I think I read some of these, not out loud.
Sean O'Brien's here.
Oh, welcome, Sean. I did miss your name.
Yeah, when Kim was out there in the dirt, the wind blowing, and she was not happy. She's out there trying to get that brake together before the rain showed up. So she was in a hurry. So I came in here because the wind was blowing, all that dirt and everything, the wheel bearings just full of dirt. I had to clean them. Guess what I used to clean them? Your strange stuff you had in your gas tank that wasn't gasoline. I'm still smelling that. It's like, what is this? I smell it. This is not gasoline. What is this? Makes a great cleaner. So I cleaned those bearings all up and then repacked them. Got all the grit out of them.
38 Racing said, Vic had a heck of a time learning the 3 on the tree in the SS. I didn't have a terrible time learning it. It was just, one of the things he's like, oh, that's no big deal. That's no big deal. I did not like that I could not shift from second back into first. I didn't like it.
She'd never driven a car with a
no first gear synchro.
No,
I was like,
synchro. And I learned like that.
There is a lot of whirring and roaring in the drivetrain of that car. There's still some, but there was a lot. And I needed new front bearings. That helped a lot.
Nothing in that drivetrain is the same.
No.
It has a Ford rear end.
It still roars.
Has a different drive shaft. Has a different transmission. What the hell's roaring?
Probably the rear end. It's probably worn.
Oh, the replacement rear end was a used rear end.
Yeah, it probably has 150 or 200,000 miles, so it's howling. But I was worried that, and you saw the flywheel was bad.
Sean O'Brien, glad I could help with the brakes.
I appreciate it, Sean. You really helped. You saw it. The flywheel was bad. The clutch disc was completely smoked and worn out. The pressure plate needed surfaced.
Everything was
all that,
completely worn
everything
out.
needed replaced. It was like, I'm not putting another 3 back in because I had a good automatic, and it has now proved itself. It shifts nice and firm like it should. It sounds good. The fluid was beautiful. I took it apart. There was nothing inside of it when I took it apart. The fluid was nice and pink. Anyways, it's working fantastic. So, in the near future, you're going to see more of the Dart, and it won't be always trying to get the damn thing running. It'll actually be moving it around. And I have a goal of, I think, April 5th. I think it's a Saturday. You know how they have that car meet downtown in Clarksville?
Car meet.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
went
I
there
know.
last
I
year.
know.
I want to go there. I want to take this too. I want to take your car and the Dart.
Yeah, we'd go down there with 2 cars. That'd be kind of fun. And we actually have 2 older cars that run. What'd you say? April 5th?
Yes.
It's a Saturday. You're right.
Mark it in your calendar. I want to go there.
So, and we'll do
I
some
think that's
video
a
down there.
good goal to have the vehicles road worthy. Sean O'Brien asked, what's the backlash on the disc?
On the differential.
On the differential? All of it.
We don't,
How much backlash?
We have no idea.
Every bit.
That rear end came out of a Ford Ranger, and we just we cut the stuff off there, and then we put all the leaf spring pads for the Dodge on there. Just did it all so everything was right. We got the differential. We videoed it. There's a video up there of us doing that, and then we slid it out of the car, put it up on top of the spring. She's on one side, I'm on the other side, and it's like it just clink fell into position perfectly. And we had it within 1/10 of a degree of being the correct
it's
angle.
going good.
So it was.
There's
but we never took it apart.
No wobble or vibration from the drive shaft because we shortened that drive shaft.
Oh yeah, I shortened the drive shaft.
And it seems great. It went fine, but there is a noise. So I think that rear end is probably howling a bit.
Oh, Hippie Long wants to know what the gears are. You went from the original Dart was
321 or 323, something like that. Same thing. 320 series. And these are 345s, and your rear gear's high enough. So on a little windy back road that I don't want to go too fast, I would gladly have 373s or 411 gears in that car. Gladly. If I was only going 55 miles an hour.
It's a good compromise between having some power and having highway gears.
Yeah,
it's fine. You drove to No Name Nationals back with that rear end in there, and it was fine.
At 45 miles an hour, I really run the engine at like an idle to cruise with the gearing that's in there. So I would think at 65, 70, it's going to be right in that range where it's very acceptable and expected for a 3-speed transmission.
The other thing that happened was the wheels. You put the Ford wheels on there, which were
They're a little bigger. Yeah.
So the wheels are bigger, so you probably didn't change your final drive ratio much at all.
Put gas in the Dart, you don't want to run out again. I'm not putting too much gas in there until I'm sure it's not leaking.
Oh, geez, you remember that.
Until I'm sure it's not leaking. Because I replaced all that, and there's still a spot under the tank, but I can't tell if it's oil or differential. I know that there is still fluid in the rear differential because it's still leaking. So that's how you know.
It's like a Harley.
Yeah, that's how you know it has.
That's how you know a Harley has oil because it's still leaking.
Yeah. But I mean, we're getting to smaller things, you know. Like the engine runs and it starts every time, starts right away. It's nice.
Oh, that thing's set there.
Oh, and the damn thing when at idle it has 11.8 volts.
Oh, but so as soon as you come on off idle, it goes to 14.
It goes up to 14.
So I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, that car sat there for 3 months. We didn't touch it. She went over there and cranked right up. I guess that battery's good. So, of course, cars back then didn't sit there with a draw on them all the time like new cars do. So, yeah, that's a reliable car now.
I'm going to start driving it into town and sort out the rest of whatever needs done.
Everything works now. Turn signals work, brake lights work, headlights work. Oh, windshield wipers. How are the windshield wipers?
It has them. Oh, we need a windshield.
And yeah, the
The
windshield's
windshield's so cloudy. It's
when
obnoxious.
windshields get cloudy around the edges, this is like 4 inches from the edge. It's cloudy, so she's gonna have a windshield put in it.
Boat Anchor CB radio repair is
Breaker,
here.
breaker, he says. Oh, because we
Welcome
saw
to
him
the
way
stream.
back there, and we've been talking about other stuff. Boat Anchor, let's see. How are you doing? I just watched 20 years. I don't remember what it was. Oh, he unboxed something. Dean Stevenson's here.
So the other thing about the Dart, it runs good. It pulls nice and hard. Like the roads, the country back roads here, they go up and down and up and down. You know, down in the holler, and then along. Like they don't bother. It follows wherever the cows like to walk. You know what I mean? It's great. So you get to test like the pulling power, and if I get in it, it pulls as hard as I want it to on these roads. But it will not break the rear tires loose. Like from a start, I guess if I got it sliding a little bit sideways, I could get one of the, but it doesn't have the torque to really break them loose.
Dean, the Z7 windshield's great. We're talking about the Dart, her 66 Dart that needs a windshield.
So
it's bad.
I think what the Dart needs to really wake it up is the exhaust pipe comes out the back of the car. It's like this. It's like a 1 1/4 inch exhaust.
See his paper towel? This is like twice as big as her exhaust pipe. It's like the top of this. Yeah.
Buddy says the alternator needs a smaller pulley to spin faster at idle to bring up the volts.
What I don't understand is it's all original sizes, isn't it?
No.
It's not?
Lord knows what's in that car. It might be, the belt might need adjusted as well. I haven't adjusted the belt, and it sat out there all winter. Maybe it got a little bit slack. Sorry, I keep bumping your thing.
And then Mexican Specs here. Good evening. How you doing? Good to see you here. How are things going? Let's see. Alternating needs smaller pulley. You know, I'm thinking
that could help, but then the problem is at higher RPM. But it's a low RPM motor.
That whole engine, everything on that was out of a 67 Barracuda.
Yeah.
So it's not the wrong size pulleys and stuff. What the heck?
Well, I don't know where that alternator came. That's the alternator that was with the car. It might just not be putting out the right number of amps. It might just be weak. It might need brushes. Maybe once it runs 1,000 miles or something like that and cleans up the brushes, maybe it'll start putting out power like it's supposed to. Or I don't know.
I'm sure you'll take it apart. She takes apart.
I'll be taking it apart.
She takes apart working assemblies, and I'm like, oh no, that's never going to work again. And then it always works better.
Yeah. So
my blower motor in my Valiant, you know, I had two cooling system shops, and I replaced a lot of blower motors. You get a blower motor, it doesn't work. Take it out and you put it in the trash can and you put a new one in and you bill a customer for it, and there's a warranty on it. So I'm pulling the blower motor out of my car and I go, oh, we need a blower motor. Kim goes over to the bench, takes it all apart. I'm thinking, well, she's curious about it. Pretty soon she's got one of my spatulas like you do drywall with, and she cuts a piece out of it and makes a new part and puts it all together and puts it in the car, and she goes, turn it on. Woo, man, I got air blowing.
Instant unobtainium.
So she fixed it before I could even order a new one.
Worth my weight in polyvinyl chloride. Let's see. We missed some people coming in. I saw that Main Street Mopars is here. Welcome to the stream. Mexican Spec is here saying hello to everybody. Welcome in, Mexican Spec. How you doing? We started a little bit early tonight. Yeah, we didn't do much yesterday or the day before, like just little stuff.
Well,
last night I was out here working on the mini bike all by myself.
But I want to say something. The boat anchor came in.
Yeah.
What happened was we ran I didn't put RG58. You'll know. People might not be familiar with these coaxes, but I put RG8X, which I'd never used 8X before. But the reason I did it is because the shielding is copper, and I had to put ends on it for the antenna I have. So I wound that all up and put an end on it, shrink tubing and everything. It looks really nice. but it was easy to solder to, and I mean, it's not a long run, but still it's nice having high quality stuff. So I got that done. That's all done in the trunk. So it's going to be easy to hook that antenna up now. And we got ads coming in 10 seconds.
Luis Miguel Suarez Barrijos.
Barrios.
Welcome to the stream. Is talking about the opening scene of Rugrats. There's a 74 Jeep CJ5, which is a cool vehicle. I love me a CJ. And 1960 Jeep Willis from the Wild Thornberrys movie. Wow, they're going to boarding school, I guess. Good vehicles, cool stuff. They make cameos with old vehicles instead of new vehicles because it's more realistic. If they just jump into brand new vehicles, you're like, how do they afford that? Right? Wouldn't you think in a movie they would always feature a brand new vehicle? Like the auto manufacturers would be like crying.
This Mercury was a movie vehicle, and they didn't do the movie, and that's why they ended up selling it. He had a 78 Thunderbird and a 78 one of these and some other old cars, and
it needed 2 months of restoration work before anybody was going to use it for anything.
They were just going to use it for the movie, but they sold them all, so I got it.
Woohoo! Got movie car. Chewie.
Yeah.
This car's name was Chewie.
Chewie from Chewbacca because of the color. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep calling it that.
Let's see. One-Eyed Cat got a. Did you get a True Green commercial?
Oh, True Green. That's the commercial.
Yeah, that's for lawn care. I guess it's that time of year. You get 2 points.
Turismo Cut. Yeah, I don't know. It's in.
Rod Jug says the Ranchero. I don't know what that means. 38 Racing says O'Reilly's wants me to buy parts.
Our camera's going nuts.
Quit twitching like that. You're confusing the camera. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah, already. Already going, the camera's going nuts.
All right. Hold your ears, everybody. I got it.
Will that fix it?
Sometimes it does. It just needs a little bit of airflow.
Kim's got a GoPro camera. It was kind of expensive, and it overheats, and it's a problem. And she took some sheet metal, took the GoPro apart, put these big, they look like paddles sticking out the side of it.
Oh, yeah, where is that?
And they're heat sinks, so it pulls heat out of the camera into these aluminum pieces. It doesn't overheat anymore. Can't believe she did that.
So the battery
Mrs. One-Eyed Cat, AutoZone was her ad. Cool.
Okay, you get 2 points. Everybody who got an advertisement that's telling us about it gets 2 points. Tax prep commercial. Who was it, Olive? You're supposed to call out the name of the tax preparationer.
Kim's whispering in my ear now.
Okay. See, here's our GoPro, and normally there'd be a door there, but the door removes, and then see these two, I'm gonna pull them out.
Pieces of aircraft aluminum.
Oh, here you go. See, 2 pieces of aluminum stuck to the sides of the bat. It's the battery that gets hot. And all the computer stuff is on either side. There's computers actually on both sides. The rear LCD and the front LCD, it all gets hot. So these aluminum plates, right, that I made that fit in there and then flare out just a little bit. They probably don't need to flare out. That's probably overkill. And then the battery, I actually took all the packaging off the battery. It had some layers of like protective stuff. So put that in there so it's right up against the battery, and then jam it in there, and bang. We can run this. It never overheats now. So
the heat goes out into that aluminum, just dissipates.
That's $1 million upgrade there. Salt off. Although, obviously it won't go in the waterproof thing.
Yeah, look at this. Mexican Spec said we had no trouble buying a new blower motor for Farley's car. The problem I had buying a blower motor is she had the other one fixed before I had a chance to order it. It was, I couldn't walk down to the house and order it before she had the original one fixed. So it made good video.
And it fixed it.
Yeah, the Valiant.
There we go.
The Valiant has a good blower motor in it, and a good engine in it, and a good transmission in it.
And they look a little silly, but if you needed to, you could bend them so you could see past it, but you don't need to see past it because it's got a screen. It works out. It works. It works really good.
Mexican Spec says, when are you actually going to work on the Zephyr? Well, we actually have been working on
Never.
the Zephyr.
We're not going to work on it.
We get sidetracked.
It's a movie car. It's just a prop.
So
it doesn't actually do anything. Like the Studebaker.
So I don't know if you've seen my shorts the last couple of days. The rear end was like bang, 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 back and forth, and we thought the bushings were bad on those upper control arms. But they were not. I bought the bushings. I have them here. But
we don't need them.
But what happened was there's a shim that goes in there, and the bolt goes through that bushing, and it's like bang, 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 bang.
Even with the shim, it wasn't tight.
It's just terrible. So Kim made a
more better shim.
She took a piece of tubing and cut the tubing so it was the right diameter, inside and outside diameter. Put some anti-seize in there. On the short video, I hammered it in there, and then you stick the bolt in. That bolt fits perfectly. So she put that side back together.
Mexican Specs is so critical of us.
I know he is. So
when are you going to work on the actual Zephyr? We'll get to it.
You know, I know everybody has a YouTube channel. It seems like they that do cars. They kind of jump from one car to another. But you got to, because, you know, we got down to the point where it's like, Kim, what do we have to drive? Every car is down except the Jeep. So then only one of us can go somewhere at a time. And what if they get stuck? It's like, you know, we need to get a couple other cars running. So I
got the van. I fixed the brakes on the van.
Van's going. Van's going now.
The Dart is in the sorting stage where you can actually go places with it. Finally, again.
The Dart, you can drive somewhere now.
I mean, we drove it to Sykeston. It's basically in the configuration it is. It just now has a new engine and transmission.
Well, wait a minute. It has a new engine and transmission, and we rebuilt part of the front end.
Yeah.
And the frame had that rusty mess in one spot.
Yeah.
We cleaned that all up,
but that doesn't change how it drives.
No, but it was a lot of. Came in for an oil leak that was going to take a day and was in here for 3.5 months while we did all that other stuff.
Isn't that lovely?
So, yeah. Then my car came in. So, you know.
It's content. When things go wrong, it's content.
It's content.
Right? People like to see us struggle. That's how a lot of the channels that do really well seems to be their MO, is they struggle. And people like to watch other people struggle. It makes them feel at home. They're used to the struggle. The struggle is real.
Oh, the parts. Oh, saying something about the parts. Here's the parts I got. Ordered Moog parts. Where are they made? India.
Mexican Spec says the car will not charge. So you're having a problem with the alternator. Is it mostly otherwise ready, Mexican Spec? Saw a Matrix at the store today, a red one. I don't know what that means.
Matrix. A glitch in the Mexican Spec says a glitch in the Matrix. I don't know what that's. I'm missing something. So it charged before, now it doesn't charge?
You got to be getting close, Mexican Spec. I hope you're not stuck for 3 months working on the thing like we do.
How's the heater and the dash and all that? Is that all back together? Did you find the pieces? Yeah, Tim says project creep. My projects always grow. Sometimes not in a good way. You know,
I wasn't planning on putting new bushings in the rear end of this car, but it needs it.
And that's what happened. This Zephyr came in here, and it was going to be a big old take a deep breath and pull the dash apart. And we knew it was going to take a while because we don't just work on it steady. We do it while we're here in the shop, and we've got other things going on. So it's not all back together, but all the hard stuff's back together. We got to put the dashboard.
There's a sticker. We need a sticker that says Project Creep.
Project Creep.
How's that for a sticker? Would anybody like that?
They'll think I'm the Project Creep.
As a real gift. Like if you don't have enough points to buy a toaster, you could get a Project Creep sticker. I really think that'd be good.
Wow, the Fairmont's in the shop. We already replaced the regulator and alternator. It still won't charge. How do you know it's not charging? I'm just wondering what your testing method
already
is.
Replaced the regulator and the alternator. Ooh.
Hippie Long, it's not charging because it's metric.
Metric volts.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hate when I do that by mistake. Exciter wire gone bad or something. Uh, yeah,
What's
I mean, the
this?
electrical people obviously know how to test an alternator, so
What's this? Luis
I
says
don't
that's
know.
not very funny. I don't know what that's about. The bill is pretty good too. The whole bill was like 3 hours labor over there. Yeah,
3 hour. That's for
that was
the
for which? For
for
the
the.
charging problem, or not for the heater, was it?
We had a battery charger measuring the voltage. I don't understand why it's not working. I wish I had some suggestion.
Yeah, be on with a voltmeter, but hmm, sometimes old wiring just gets brittle.
It
Yeah, or
might.
if you're Mercedes Benz, they use that. What was it? Rice something. They use some kind of organic wiring insulation, and the rodents like ate
Oh,
all of
that's
it.
the soybeans.
Soybean, and they had like all those Mercedes had to have new wiring harnesses put in. Oh my god.
Sometimes old
Carl
wiring
had
gets brittle.
one of those Mercedes. That's a plural of Mercedes.
Tim says it's going to be 65 till next week. Snow is all gone already. Truck time, springtime in the Rockies.
Who was it
Woohoo!
earlier? I saw it in here, and I we were talking. Uh, who's it that's in Louisiana? He said he got to see snow for the first time.
Mike Ann was saying that.
Mike N. Okay, so you saw it in Louisiana, or you went somewhere else? It got all the way down to
Good
Louisiana.
night, Crash Roadrunner Garage.
Oh, you're
Sorry
out
you
of
couldn't
here.
stay longer, but thank you for showing. Thanks for stopping in and saying hello. The mechanics are working on it, and we'll know more tomorrow. All right, they ought to be able to sort it out. I mean, it's a pretty simple system to test. You know, I mean, you could just bypass the regulator, and it should put out full voltage. You should be able to see that it's that part is working. So then you can determine whether it's the alternator or the regulator, and then if the alternator is putting it out, but the battery's not charging, then it's somewhere in the cables. I mean, it's not a
Rod
huge system to sort.
Rod said they saw 8 inches of snow. Man, we're done with that. We
Oh,
here in Tennessee, we get like
no
an
more.
inch or two, like in January, maybe December, and then that's it. I mean, that's a lot of snow
We
for
shouldn't
here.
have too many more days that it goes below 40 even at night now.
Yeah,
It's going to be like 40 to 60 degrees day and night here for a month, and then it'll be like summer. And then last night I went out. It was 7:45, and I could still see the slightest bit of sun on the horizon, or of just twilight on the horizon. It had not the sun was not fully dark. So, and that's at 7:45. So I am thrilled because that means that summer is rapidly approaching. Now the bugs are waking up. I saw a frog already,
frogs are okay; they eat bugs.
but they're hanging out at the door and they
That
don't wake
means
up until there's food.
that
So that
means if
means there's
those frogs climb up the side of the building, they go up near there's an outside light, an exterior light, and the bugs go up there. So the frogs climb up there and grab the bugs from the light. So they're already up there, huh? Oh, let's see here. Two things for Mexican spec. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back. Luis says I had probably a hot dog for dinner today. Also drank a Fanta soda. And what did we have for dinner tonight? Hot dogs. She cut up the hot dogs and mixed some vegetables in it or something, but it was good. Uh, let's see. The alternator was only putting out 13, bypassing the regulator. The new alternator puts out nothing. Well, there you go. That's not helping things.
got a batch of
Says,
bad alternators.
Buff,
It
when you
looks
get a
like.
chance, go look at the Fairmont I posted today. I'll do that. I was pretty busy today, and then I got up earlier than normal, so like in the afternoon I was out again, so I wasn't looking at everything online. 38 racing, we had 8 foot in one place, bare ground in others.
Drifting
Oh
snow.
man, that means it's windy. Oh yeah, you had some wind. We had it too. After you, it came here, but I don't think here it got over about 50 miles an hour. You know, some places I heard it was 80. It had calmed down a little when it came through here, and then it was probably what, like 25 or 30 that day you were out there trying to fix the brakes, and the dirt's flying around, and leaves and dirt. She's under there. She was not happy.
Want it to work. There's still no heater though. I gotta hook the heater hoses up.
Have they ever been hooked up?
Yeah, yeah. I
So we
unhooked
know
them.
it has heat.
Yeah, I don't think there's any problem with the heater core or anything like that. I looped it so I didn't have to fight those hoses when I was doing the valve adjustment, because you're supposed to do a valve. It's like part of the cam break in as you do the valve adjustment. So Mexican Spec says that Fairmont that he just posted is a 302 with a 3-speed manual, no power steering or brakes, and no heater or air. A lightweight car, and it looks new, and it's a box top. Nice. Did you post that on your Instagram, or did you just send that straight to Buff? No, he posted it today. Check that out, guys. If you haven't been,
I'll look at it.
if you've never checked out Mexican Spec on Instagram,
We don't have that handy here, do we?
what's that?
Because
Instagram?
because you always put it up. Well, he can put it up. You can put up a link to your Instagram. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Mexican Spec. I don't have it handy, and honestly, in the shop, we're already doing the most.
You know,
Like I got to hook up camera number 2 and get to work on some things here before too long.
Oh, are you going to work on something?
Yeah. I just wanted to get a start. People like to talk, and we usually don't start till 10. So honestly, we're only a couple minutes past the start of our normal stream start. So
Olive says
you guys
sometimes
got bonus time tonight.
sometimes you do just get a bad alternator out of the box. Yeah, sometimes you get all kinds of bad parts out of the box.
It's a shame they slap them together and send them out like they didn't test it. But who knows how hard that box has been dropped between wherever it got rebuilt and wherever I don't know. It's really hard to find a shop that rebuilds anything, and it's just so cheap to buy stuff from the parts store, and if it doesn't work, get it exchanged, compared to trying to do it yourself. Labor, even in Mexico, apparently labor is expensive enough that they don't do it themselves. It gets done out of house. Because if it had been done in house, they would have tested it thoroughly before they put it in a car. See, but if the regulator was bad, you could override the regulator and run full voltage to
and that's
the
what
alternator,
he did.
and you would get.
That's what he did, and he had 13.
You get like 18 volts out of an alternator.
Well,
jump it.
He had 13 bypassing the regulator, so
yeah,
that's not enough. Yeah, it's like something right. I need to deliver it to Jason early in the week after next. Plus, the customs agent is working on the documents. Well, good. See, that's another thing about Mexican Spec. He helps you with all that stuff.
It was bought from AutoZone. Shoot.
I wonder who the suppliers are for AutoZone in Mexico, if it's different.
It could be different.
Could be different. Don't know.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of stuff we get here says made in Mexico, made in China, made in Canada. Oh, very little made in the U.S.
That's the other thing, is every different alternator on an AutoZone shelf does not come from the same place.
Yeah, they come from
they get, they need to stock a part. They get it from whoever's cheapest. It could come from a different place every time, in a different box, looking different, from a different rebuilder.
You're getting the zone, Max.
Yeah. We did that, but it was only 13 with lights, with the air on. It killed the engine. Yeah.
It's funny, they didn't have a listing for an 81 Fairmont, but they did have one for an 81 Mustang, and it's the same part. A lot of times on this car, I'm finding I can order stuff for Mustangs. I can't order for a Fairmont or a Zephyr, but I order for a Mustang, and it's perfect. Now, we got some problems with the windshield wiper.
Oh, stuff. Yeah, that's the other thing that we were working on this week.
We're working on that. We're working on windshield wipers too, and we're gonna have to make up something there.
As far as we can tell, is that the 78 Fairmont Mercury Zephyr was using the older Ford wiper mechanism. Um, the arms are the right size for this car, but the bushings and everything are of the style of the earlier Fords. So 76 Ford F-150 has the same bushings in different length arms. So like you could order the parts for a truck and it would be the right bushings, but not the right length arms and not the correct what are the part that spins in the this bushing
The bushing that's supposed to go in that hole.
is the old style, but the arms and the this are something new to fit the thing. So you can't buy something from an F-150 because it's the wrong length and all that stuff. And you can't buy something for a Mustang because they changed how these bushings are designed in the later, probably 79 or 80, something like that. So there's no listings because it's kind of like a rare, obscure part. So I bought a set of and they don't sell the individual bushings or anything like that. They just sell the whole thing, right? But they don't have it for this car at all. So I bought not used, brand new replacement set of this and the other one that comes from a Mustang, and we are going to hopefully convert. We have to compare. We don't know. We have to compare if these arms and these linkage lengths and all that stuff are the same. And then the driver's side is going to be wrong.
What is this, Tim? They found some leftover Ford parts in a warehouse. They had enough to build a Fairmont.
It's exactly like that, Tim. That's exactly what it seems like they did. Go to a rubber store and get what you need.
You know what? This is if nothing works.
So
what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy some Heim joints that are that inside diameter and just weld them onto this thing.
If this doesn't work, so we were talking about how we could solve it, and we're talking about welding Heim joints and stuff like that. I have a
bunch of Heim joints here.
But I went on Amazon, and the whole transmission, both sides, left and right, all these bars and everything for the Mustang was like $60.
Is that what they call it, a transmission?
They call it a wiper transmission, yeah.
A wiper transmission, okay.
Because you have to buy it as an assembly. They don't sell individual parts of it. But Amazon had a used one offered for half price. So for $30, we can't even fabricate. It's cheaper to buy it than to try and fabricate.
So
$30?
It's not here
You can't pay me $30 to cut all this off and custom fabricate Heim joints and weird crap. So when that stuff comes, we're going to compare it up and see if we can make it work.
And the thing is, it can't be rigid. It's rubber in there, so that pin will move around a little bit because the angle changes a little bit, and that's why I can't just put a bolt and a bushing in there.
So we're working on it. That was a whole day. We had to try and figure out how we were going to resolve this problem.
And Mexican Spec says we're not doing anything to the car. It's because we're doing a little here, a little there.
Are you guys ever going to work on the car? Like, no, we're not going to work on it.
And then it's back up at the house, so I could show it.
Which one?
The I don't know what you call it. There's the instrument cluster, binnacle, whatever you want to call it. And then there's the panel that goes in over it that has all the holes in their air conditioning registers and all that. What is that thing called? Somebody will know what that thing's called.
The insert for the gauge cluster? No.
It's
the trim.
It's a bezel or something. Yeah, so anyway, there's some spots on there that have nothing. Well, I'm going to run a pretty big hot lead with a breaker up by the battery up in there that's separate from what normally comes into the passenger compartment. I'm going to run that up there. Yeah, they're all saying bezel.
All right, you both get a point for saying bezel.
So anyway, I want a place to put a couple of breakers. Ads. I'll wait for the ads.
That's stupid. Mexican Spec asks, did you look on Facebook for Ford Fairmont parts? No. Facebook?
Oh, there's probably a whole group of people that know where all this stuff is.
Yeah. The thing of it is when we find a lot of times the prices of things are silly. Like I was looking on eBay, and they want like 100 or 120 bucks, or if you're getting brand new parts, it's 150 bucks for the wiper transmission, the wrong wiper transmission. So finding a set for 30 bucks brand new, we're going to see if we can make that work.
Claritin, 2 points.
People part out cars all the time. Cars this old, though, they're all worn out.
Yeah, they're
worn out.
They're in the same condition.
They're just as bad, yeah.
In fact, this one's a pretty good shop Ranger ad. This is one I kept.
There's not even listings for the parts.
Look at this 38 Racing empty tires. Wow.
Empty tires, Granger.
Granger again.
They're the ones who get it done. I agree with that. If you need to get stuff done, check out Granger if you can't find your parts. Don't look on eBay. You have to pay lots of fees. I know, but if they have what we need, it's getting to be rare parts for some things on this car.
Idolmaker and therapy yet. Hey, what was I saying when the commercials interrupted me?
I don't know, but everybody who called out the advertiser gets 2 points. Now, therapy ad is a little vague. You got to give me a name, Hippie Long. I'll give it to you this time, but next time I need like a brand name, because these people are spending money, right? They are giving us a fraction of a penny for every one of you who watches an ad. So, we got to at least say their name, or we don't. But,
well, we'll
try.
Granger seems to be steadily advertising.
If they're posting advertising, at least we know they're not hiding our stream from anyone being able to find us.
The thing about Granger, I've always said when I was working out at the test site, I was a government contractor, and I did a lot of purchasing, and we were needed stuff, and sometimes you need it now. You need it by the next day, and if it was in the Granger catalog, they were a little more pricey, but you know what? We always had it the next day. Whatever was in their catalog, they had it in stock, and I could always count on that. That's pretty good stuff.
The Granger catalog is 3 inches thick, one-eye cat. I agree. It's a heck of a big catalog, which is good because you can find lots of things.
You know another catalog that's a big, thick thing like that, if you still have the paper one, is the McMaster car. And I don't know if any of you deal with McMaster car, not a sponsor, but man, when you need anything mechanical, nuts, bolts, screws, everything. I mean, springs, anything you can think of. Man, they have it,
Tim, you get 2 points. Tim says, I watched a video on Mike's car shop. He had to fix and rebuild those wiper arms and bushings on one of his old trucks, so he just stole them off an old project truck. See, I scavenged around, right? I've got that Ford Ranger cab, and the arms mount into the cowl completely different, so they're not interchangeable. So I wasn't really gung-ho on trying to use that. And then the Dodge truck, I knew it was going to be different because it's a Dodge, not a Ford, so that's out. And then the Bronco, I want to fix that, so the last thing I want to do is scavenge parts off of it. And then we have some Chrysler cars. They're not going to be the same sort of parts. So for 30 bucks for brand new parts that probably will interchange off of a Mustang, we're going to try that. We searched around. I think that's something that's going to get us ahead in life.
Oh. Next Inspect says, there's beautiful Futura for sale in Indiana. I sent you the link.
Quit trying to make them buy more cars. We got enough cars. He likes this car too. He's all about it.
I can't wait to be.
I know he's excited to have his car going.
The only thing is, I used to be on the road a lot, and I'm 71. I don't know if I can travel like I used to. Maybe. I hope so.
Mike Murphy's here. Welcome to the stream, Mike. We're just tinkering. We are justifying to Mexican Spec that we have been doing things because he thinks we just sit around and yap and don't get anything done. So we just qualified everything we've done in the last 1 week, which took 45 minutes. I don't think he believes us.
Hippie Long says, instead of fixing wipers and heater cores, I just moved to where You don't need them. Man, I lived
Good plan.
in Yuma, Arizona for what, probably 15 years total, with a couple little breaks in there. Man, was that nice. You don't need heater cores.
I mean,
you need air conditioning.
I'm slowly working in that direction. I used to live in Pittsburgh, and then we needed ice scrapers and all that stuff. And like now I'm in Tennessee, and like it's way better. It's not perfect yet, but it's way better down here. So
Mexican Spec says all your lives prove you sit around and yap. Hey, wait a minute. A lot of our lives,
sitting around yapping is work too.
Kim is underneath a car. A lot of times I'm sitting here and I'm getting her tools, or she's like, hold this or something. I get involved a little bit, but I'm sitting here.
We're entertainers.
But she's working.
That's honest living. That's real work.
She works on the cars harder than I do. Mike Murphy, do you prefer Yuma over Phoenix? Yes, I do. Yuma, I moved to Yuma and I just loved it there. I had a job where I had to live there, so I was there. And man, it was warm and it was nice. And I'm thinking, man, this is good. I wonder if there's a place that's nicer than this, that's warmer. And you know what? It was the consistently warmest place in the world. So I guess I'm here. A lot of people think it's too hot, but it's 10% humidity, and yeah, it's kind of hot, but the winters.
Parting out a Fairmont wagon
beautiful.
In Kentucky.
Wow.
There you go. See, but driving to Kentucky is no small task.
Well, it depends on
and
where.
And that's assuming that it's the right parts and that they're in good condition. And then we have to pay for them. And
Kentucky,
$30.
We're way at one end of Kentucky, and it's like pretty close right there. But most of Kentucky's like.
Most of Kentucky is 3 hours away.
Way out there. Yeah.
So 3 hours of driving back and forth and pulling parts off of some old junker. $30 is not a lot to get parts. We're gonna make them work, or we won't. Or you'll watch us struggle and laugh. Just laugh when we suffer. Just laugh, because it's not you. You don't have to suffer. We do.
Okay, Mike Murphy says, I'm trying to move to Phoenix or Tucson. I'm over.
Thank you for looking for parts for us, though, Mexicans. We appreciate you.
I want to. I don't know where Stanford, Kentucky is. Okay, we'll get to that. Mike Murphy, I want to address that a little bit. Tucson and Phoenix are very different from each other. Tucson's probably about between 2,000 feet above sea level and 2,500 feet in there. It's kind of hilly, and it's a pretty nice place, but the winters are cooler.
I'm going to check on the fire.
Okay, the winters are definitely can get cold in Tucson. In Phoenix, that doesn't really happen. Phoenix is warmer, but not as warm as Yuma. Yuma's cooking hot. But Phoenix is okay. Phoenix, you have those big thunderstorms blow through there sometimes. And it depends on what area. I mean, Phoenix is huge. Phoenix is the fifth largest city in the U.S. now. Man, the first time I went to Phoenix, I was a kid. It was small. Well, it's small, but it wasn't big, Now it's enormous.
It's huge.
So, and there's Phoenix and Surprise and Glendale and Tempe and all these cities that are all kind of together, So it's huge. They just call it the Valley, and it's enormous. So I don't know. Some people like the culture a little bit better in Tucson. If I were gonna move to one of those two places, it'd be Phoenix, just because all the stuff that's available. It's just, Tucson isn't that bad either. I don't know. My favorite though is Yuma, but it takes kind of a special person. That's a way to put it. A weirdo, special person to like Yuma, because it's 120 degrees most of the summer. Most people don't like that, but depends on what activities you're doing.
38 Racing says, I'm going to cut out now. We have family obligations tomorrow. See you all later. Thanks for being here, Ray. We appreciate you. Hope to see you again real soon.
Take care.
Enjoy your time with your family. You get to see them and do your obligations.
Before you leave, Ray, I don't know if you watched DD. No, not DD. Who was it? The guy that does all the custom stuff in Canada. A Bad Chad. I thought it was a 59 or a 60 Chevy, but it wasn't. It was a 60 Pontiac, but it has that same long roof. He chopped the top on that thing. It came out really good, and he just painted it. I don't know if you want to see that chopped up on one of those, but he did it so it's not real radical, but it's noticeably chopped. It's kind of interesting thing. So anyway, when I first saw it, I thought it was a '59 Chevy. It's like, whoa, look at that. Mike Murphy, sorry to change the subject. Appreciate the input. Oh, I'll talk about Arizona anytime.
He
That's
loved it out
that's the
there.
one thing that I don't like about Tennessee.
It's
Not as warm and dry as Arizona. In Arizona, it'll be hot as hell in the summertime at night. You know, sun's down and it'll be, you know, over 100 degrees, and it's just comfortable, and there's no bugs. I mean, in a whole summer, I'd get bit by one mosquito, maybe, you know, and that'd be after a rain, and it doesn't rain much. But here, oh man, summer, here come the bugs. You know, you're spraying yourself every time we come to the shop, just soaking ourselves with some kind of poison. We probably shouldn't do that.
Olive says, I've had good dealings with eBay putter outer guys. The prices tend to be very fair considering their trouble. eBay can be a very good source. And especially, I'm careful about who I buy from, right? You look at their ratings, positive, nobody's all positive. You know, you see how much stuff, how long they've been selling, where they're located. And if all that stuff checks out, you can kind of expect to, you know, look at their return policy, make sure you read the description of the item, and yeah, yeah, but it's not always the cheapest, and they, you know, sometimes used stuff. It's buyer beware, not because eBay. It's not eBay's fault. It's just used stuff.
Well,
But then again, new stuff.
The thing I do like about eBay is you can't leave. People can't just leave comments. They've got to actually purchase something to leave a comment. So they're probably real feedback. Kim, I'm
38 Racing says Chad's Pontiac. Yep, I seen
Oh,
that one.
good.
The windshield was an interesting process. I didn't see the windshield part.
And it's the same top as a '59 or '60 Chevy. That's why I noticed it.
He says use mouthwash for bug repellent. Those bugs don't care. They'll try anything when they're hungry, and if mouthwash starts to smell like food, they don't care if they hate the smell.
You know, it works here in the
like
shop.
Dinner bell. Ding, ding, ding.
We got a window air conditioner that doesn't cool it off much in here, but man, it drops the humidity by a lot. And then you have a shop vac and just suck the bugs because they can't compete with that. They just in they go.
Goodbye.
They go in there and never come out.
I think we're caught up on some of the important stuff. The comments have slowed down.
I'm looking for something. Stanford, Kentucky.
I've seen Stanford. It's not close. And plus, we have the stuff we need on the way.
I want to see where it is.
Yeah.
I want to see where it is.
Yeah, maybe a wagon would have a better rear end ratio.
It is. Yeah, it's way far from here. What doesn't show miles? It shows minutes. I don't want to know minutes. My car, the odometer doesn't show minutes.
Minutes is maybe it's 3.5 hour drive, Mexican spec.
Yeah, it says 3 hours and 54 minutes. It's 4 hour drive. Yeah, it's way out on the other end of Kentucky.
I mean, it would serve us well to find the Mustang people around here who are parting out cars, but not too many people are still parting out cars this old. You end up having to drive several hours to find a decent parts car, and that's rough. You know, that's one of the downsides of working on cars this old.
I came in on these things kind of weird because my first one I had, it was 4 years old. It had been crunched in the front end, not badly, so I got a good deal on it, fixed it. But pieces, parts were available. Dealer, you just go to the dealer and get anything. And that car was gone many years ago. Then I get one I still think of as the same. It's a fairly new car. No, it's 47 years old. So now I'm on the other end of it. Nothing's available. You got to chase everything down. But still, it's a pretty simple car. Imagine doing this like 40 years from now with the new cars that are new today and trying to chase down all the pieces and parts. Good luck, So I'm pretty happy with this thing. I got to chase a few parts, but big deal. And we're fabricators. I mean, you look what Kim did with the bushings on those on the rear end. She just made a piece. I said, let's get a piece of tubing. And I have a lot of aircraft tubing. And she had a piece. She pulled down a piece. Wasn't quite right. And then she found some tubing she had. Sure enough, she made it work. And you'll see it on the short where I put it in there. And it's just perfect. So you fabricate something.
And now the other side is
now the
just
other
as
side.
sloppy. So I have to take it apart and do the same.
What's Mike Murphy? Yeah, hippie. The sunsets and sunrises are top notch here in Colorado. But I think Arizona's are better. You know, I don't really remember Phoenix. See, I had a house in Phoenix for, excuse me, hiccups. I had a house in Phoenix for a while, but while I was there, I got hired by a guy in Ohio. I got the hiccups. I got hired by a guy in Ohio, so I ended up not spending a lot of time in that house in Phoenix before I sold it. But then when I was in Yuma, man, that was perfect. And if you like Mexico, you know, if you're in Yuma, it's just go over to Algodones and walk into Mexico. That's real convenient. If you like it.
If you like that kind of thing.
Some people think I was crazy walking into Mexico, but I did it. If you want, I'm also a former East Coastie.
East Coastie.
Mike Murphy, I much prefer the West over the Northeast. Oh, yeah. The Northeast. You know what I liked about the Northeast? I was in Ohio, Northeast Ohio, and the business where I worked was a fun place. The pay wasn't very good. It was the only county in Ohio that's part of the Appalachian poverty area. And so the pay wasn't real good. But man, the job was just perfect for me. Designing and building airplanes and running an airplane shop. I mean, just that just fit in that. But the weather, man, that was just too much. Okay, Kim, so you're headed somewhere. You don't know what you're doing.
So, you know what? I walked over here with something and now it's gone. I had it in my hands and it just disappeared.
Oh, you set it down.
Disappeared. I didn't set it down. I don't know where it went.
If you didn't set it down, it'd still be in your hand.
It disappeared. It's gone. I don't know what I'm doing. Go ahead and just.
Hippie Long says I got Yosemite and the Sequoias about an hour away. You know what I liked in Yosemite? There's an area as you're coming in the south side of Yosemite that's called Wawona, and there's a bunch of cabins in there, and it's you're in the pine trees and everything. I just love that area, but you know it's expensive. It's expensive. Wawona, man, what a great place. That's probably one of my favorite places. Just the environment there, but you know it's California. You're gonna pay for that. Mike Murphy, the gloomy gray skies every day in upstate New York are killing me. You know, when I moved to Geneva, Ohio, I had to get my hair cut. One of the first things I had to do, I went to a local barber there, and there's somebody in there talking in a barbershop. And this guy tells me, he goes, this place is pretty good. He goes, we have 51 days of sunshine a year. I thought he was joking, because no place has only 51 days of sunshine a year. But Geneva, Ohio, after living there for 15 years, that's how it was, 51 days of sunshine a year.
That's terrible!
My youngest son, when we moved from there down to here, he'd go outside and he'd go, I hate the sun, the sun's in my eyes. Every time I go outside, the sun's in my eyes. Because he grew up in Geneva, Ohio. So he got used to it. Now he likes it. Now he likes the sun. Oh, man. Yes, Syracuse has something like 60 days. Well, if any of you have been to Buffalo, Buffalo is very much like Geneva, Ohio, as far as the weather goes. Lake effect snow and it's gloomy. I don't know. The other thing about Geneva, Ohio, it'd be 75 degrees and you'd be soaking wet with sweat in the summertime. Only 75 degrees, but the humidity was so high you're just drenched. and you feel hot because nothing evaporates off you, you know. So I didn't like that a lot either. But Carfano went to Yosemite once, and Yogi stole my biscuit. Yogi stole my picnic basket. Man, remember that stuff? That's when I was a kid. I used to watch Yogi Bear, Yogi and Boo Boo. That was the cartoon then, you know. Yogi, Boo Boo, who else? Fred Flintstone and George Jetson. Those were the ones. Mike Murphy. It's crazy how close Northeast Ohio is to the far western point of New York. Oh yeah, you just go through that little corner of Pennsylvania. You ever look at the shape of Pennsylvania? It looks like a rectangle, except for this little spot there. And you know there was some kind of negotiation, so Pennsylvania got a spot on the lake. You know, and it's I could just imagine that. There are probably all kind of arguments, but yeah, Pennsylvania, Erie, Pennsylvania's right there. Yeah, but if you drive from Geneva, Ohio to New York, it's like I don't know, it's like you're just there quickly. Yeah, Natasha and Bullwinkle. What's the other guy's name? Boris. Boris and Natasha and Bullwinkle. Oh man. Yeah, that Lake Erie is brutal. Summer and winter. Humidity is a killer. Yep. Yep. That's why I moved away from there. It's like my son got stationed in Fort Campbell here. So I'm looking on the map. Where's Fort Campbell? So that same night, I'm looking at houses. I found this place. And that was like a Thursday night or something. I came down here Friday and looked at it and bought the place. I was like, that was it, man. I'm getting away from that cold. I'm getting away from that cold white north. I live, not lives. Louis says, Sheriff Buford T. Justice. Oh, yeah, I remember that movie. Man, that was like 50 years ago. Buford Pusser. Walking Tall. I saw that movie the first year I was in the Air Force. That was 1973. Yeah, that's a while ago. And you know what else from that movie? It was the first time I ever saw a police car with blue lights on it, because police cars all had red lights, or red and amber. Red and amber lights on police cars. And that movie, they were blue, and I thought that looked so cool. Now it's like half the United States or more blue lights on police cars, which I like, because then you know, you see lights flashing way out there, you know, if it's police or fire department or something else, you know. We got commercials coming in about 30 seconds. Oh yeah, worse than the humidity is the salt on the roads. Man, when I was first there, I turn this corner and I'm going down this hill, and the speed limit's like 50 or 55 or something. I'm starting down this hill. There's a Chevy pickup coming up toward me, and his fender on the driver's side is going flap, flap. It's sticking straight out, sailing in the wind. It'd flap back down, and I moved way over. I'm thinking, that thing could cut me in half. And it was a rusty fender that had come loose, and the guy's just driving like that. Man.
That's a good Ohio car.
We got commercials. I think we have commercials. The countdown for the commercials is there, but I didn't see them come up.
Maybe nobody really got it.
Mike Murphy, still got my memory. LOL, I'm in Loveland now, moving to Fort Collins in July. Man, I had a friend that lived in Loveland, and I remember going there. It's been a long time, but I remember going to Loveland. Granger commercials. So the commercials did come out. I just didn't I got the countdown, but I didn't see the commercial come up.
Another Granger commercial. Granger loves them.
Granger, yeah, that's great. I'm glad they're taking care of us.
Hope they're doing well.
Split Fiction. Mike, I like Durango area.
Maybe we should get a Granger account.
Granger. You know what we should do is just get their catalog. When you need something, they got it, you know. Although, I will always go to.
Well, they're online.
I you know, McMaster's, pretty good too.
Yeah, but they don't deliver local. Same day. Free.
Granger, Granger might. I don't know. Do they have a place in? Does Granger have a place in? There's the noise. How long are you going to be doing that?
What?
How long are you going to be grinding?
Well, that long one more time.
Okay. Ancestry ad, 2 points. And whoever that was had the, what is it? Granger, Mike N, 2 points. Mike Murphy went to Four Corners. You know, all the time I lived out there and drove around, I was always in a hurry when I was going somewhere. So I never went to Four Corners. I don't know why. I was pretty close. Next. Kim's noise. Okay. Yeah, they say that the mic's cutting out a lot of that, but I can't talk over it. If I talk, it'll just be buried by. Tim says we have a Granger store in town. Yeah, I wonder if there's one in Nashville. Dr. Ghost says just stopping in long enough to say hi to your amazing car community and fans, and also the Fix Everything team of Kim and Buff. Always love Buff's daily tools and solutions. You know, I saw your comment on there, the one where Kim she cut the tube to the right length and made the diameter right, pressed it into that bushing, and she put it in the car. It is rock solid on that side. Now we got to do the other side. But yeah, Kim and I are a lot the same with it. Like, we like to find solutions to things. She's almost better at it than I am. I've always told her when I was working out there at the test site, that's what you're doing at a test site. You're testing new airplanes. And everything isn't all sorted out. So some of them are hopeless and you set them aside. Some of them are almost there and you got to solve some problems and stuff. And that's what I did. And I always told Kim, I wish you were out there because she would have been one of the people that was really good at solving problems. And some people that worked out there, they're more like technicians that knew how to fix stuff if they had a manual. But we were writing the manuals. We were taking something new and getting the flight testing done and writing the checklist and writing the manuals and getting everything sorted. And Kim would have been so good at that. But I'm glad I met her where I did anyway. Met her at No Name Nationals. Jeez. Mike Murphy, it wasn't that exciting, but it's pretty. I couldn't transfer money because no service on my phone. The Nahos let me go in for free. Nice people. Oh, that's cool. Kim, it smells like steel dust over here now. You ever in a shop where somebody's doing a lot of grinding and then that steel dust in your nose? That's what just happened in here.
Probably because we're grinding stuff.
Mexican Spec says, whose car's been in the garage longer, the Dart or the Zephyr? Dart was here for 3.5 months.
The Dart was here longer. The
Zephyr will be out in the next not too long.
Yeah.
It depends on what we do. It gets to the point where I can drive it. I'm going to drive it. And then I want to build the console and do some other things that'll be back in. But we have some other bigger projects. I don't know if we're going to cut apart make a ute out of the Valiant first, or if we're going to do the aluminum car or something else. It could be something else. It's ozone from burning Ferris Metals. Yeah, Dr. Go says good control arm shorts. Yeah, I saw your comment in there. It's pretty good. Give you the old heart. Luis, if you're missing a lot of the animated movies, if you watch them in Spanish, the jokes are aimed at English-speaking adults. Tim says the metallic smell is mechanic's cologne. Right. When I got finished in the airplane shop, I was in the welding area a lot, where they're grinding and fitting, tubing. It just smelled like that all the time. Man, when I get home after work, straight to the shower. It's all black stuff. Get that smell off me.
It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, but I like the work. I mean, yeah. Buddy car found a Mexican spec. Came with a 3-year free replacement warranty. Oh, what was that? I missed something. Buddy car found. Did you buy a battery yet? Spencer? I know what that was. Buddy Carpano says, "Did you buy a battery yet? Spent $350 for an Optima battery for my truck today." Man, yeah, I want an Optima battery for this. I don't know if you can hear me over the grinding or not. Maybe. Okay, she's done. Okay, now I'm lost where I was here. Oh yeah, I really want an Optima battery for this, but
I always give you a hard time when you talk about spending that much money on.
Well, see, I used to make really good money, and I just say, "Oh, I want an Optima battery. Go buy it." Well, now it's like I want an Optima battery. It's like save for 4 months. Well, I'm not going to save for 4 months for a battery. I'm going to go buy a battery that'll work. That's the way it is. And I was really stupid when I went and got all this stuff out of my Mazda after the crash, because I had a Optima battery in there that wasn't very old, and I should have taken an old battery up there and just swapped it out. I didn't even think of it till afterwards. So that went off to some wrecking yard with a year-old Optima battery in it. Oh well.
Sorry.
That was a mistake. I was pretty upset then and just trying to get the job done. Okay. Danny Boyd's here. Saying, oh, geez, it's already almost midnight. Yeah, I pause when she's grinding. I just pause. I can't talk over that.
Sorry.
Oh, wait a minute. Steve Edwards says George Foreman died at 76.
Today.
He was only 76? George Foreman's only 5 years older than me? Really? Man. That's sad to hear. Dr. Go, I don't enjoy the struggle for you guys, but I always turn struggles into solutions. So I watch for your solutions and brain power. You guys make me way smarter than I bet you figure out solutions too. I saw your car. That thing's, not everybody has a car that's that age, that's in that condition. You're doing something right.
And sometimes we cheap out. If we just paid somebody or bought the part, it would be simpler, but we get a little bit off. We do things ways regular people wouldn't because we're too damn cheap.
Yeah, Mexican spec. It's really because I started following TK's Garage. What they're doing is they're going back to the federal standards are going to go back to 1970, which makes sense. I mean, lower carbon dioxide. I think the oxides of nitrogen is still there. The evaporative emissions are still there. So I mean, we're not going to make the place filthy again, but we got to get our economy going. Maybe that'll help. Bring prices down a bit. I don't know. That's going to get into politics. But anyway, if you want to follow that kind of stuff, TKs will keep you up to date on it. Mike Murphy, I follow that now. I did not hear that. I know most counties here don't do it. The one like 5 miles west of me doesn't do smog. Danny Boy piss on all that DEF stuff. Hey, how did that ever happen? Somebody that had a lot of cattle urine figured out a way to sell it to everybody and require people to buy it. I mean, I look at that as the biggest scam that ever happened. But maybe it works. I don't know. Buddy Carfana bought it because truck has extra off-road lights. 2013 Raptor. Yeah, Raptor's pretty cool truck. The big one, not George Foreman 2, George Foreman 3 or George Foreman 4. Oh, bunch of George Foremans.
Yeah, he named all his kids George Foreman. I'm not even kidding.
Man. Young, yeah, George Foreman Boxer and Sandwich Maker King. George Foreman Grill. I think everybody had a George Foreman grill at one time.
A lot of people did. That's a fancy little thing.
I was watching Cher one time, and Cher went on to, are you going to grind some more? Oh, she's going to weld.
I got to weld a little bit.
So Cher was one time, she was hawking something, makeup or something, and she goes, she had to stop that because that's so uncool, and she thought that was the most uncool thing she ever did, and didn't make her any money, and people that are famous shouldn't do that. And then George Foreman does the grill. He cleaned up with the thing. he's known more for the grill than his boxing days.
Yeah, he is.
It's amazing. Guy was really something.
I mean, at least it wasn't a trash product.
No, it was a great product. And there were a whole bunch of different versions of it.
There was, yeah, isn't that crazy after welding?
Old McDonald's, you're only 7 years older than me. Who's that? Old McDonald says, who, me? I'm 71. Oh, George Foreman was born January 10th of 49. Yeah, so he was 5 years older than me. Wow. Buff is a youngster. Yeah, Tim. I think Tim's a year older than me. Yeah, born January 10th of 49. So yeah, 5 years and about a month. It's like 5 years and a month older than me. Yeah, Sonny was sure an ace on those. Yeah, he died from a skiing accident. Excellent Spec says, I saw Cher on a show in the UK. They were fawning over here and talking about her performances. They asked her if she watched him on TV. She says, I'm not much of a fan of Cher. The best one I saw in the UK was Top Gear when they had Jay Leno on. That's on YouTube somewhere. It's a riot. If you can see that video, it is. That was one of the best videos I ever saw. Danny Boyd, I'm an old fart. Okay, I don't know what she's doing. She's welding, sizzling pretty good. Tim, what you making?
Mess.
A mess. Doesn't sound like that. Sound like a pretty good weld. But I'm gonna need you over here pretty soon. Luis, it's getting late for me. I have to go to sleep. Okay, hey, thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. And we'll be back at some point. I don't know what day we'll be back. Definitely Tuesday.
Okay, you need a break, is what you're saying? I have a weld, and you know I'm not good at it. Okay.
Okay, you know what I need?
Yeah.
I need a break. I need a break.
Okay, I understand. Gotcha. I'm here. I want to check on everybody.
I won't be. Yeah.
Are you taking care of the chat?
Yeah, there. Yes, some of it. I'm not commenting a lot on the new smog things, the smog checks and laws and everything, because I think and what I did say was they're watching what's his name TK, and I have said, if you want to know what's going on, watch his channel because he's keeping everybody, and he's not like going off on. He's just reading facts, which is pretty good. So they're going back to 1970 standards, which is still
pretty good stuff.
Which is still lower carbon dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, evaporative emissions. So we're not going to make a mess out of everything, but it's more reasonable. Okay, I'm Danny Boyd. What's this? I already got a couple of gray hairs in '92. Got my '82 Mustang GT that year too. I wonder how old Danny Boyd is. I got to take a walk. I'll when I come back, maybe you'll see how old Danny Boyd is. Maybe he'll tell us. Maybe he won't.
Well, I've got questions anyways, because I remember that, I remember people telling me that without a catalytic converter, you can run a leaner mixture, right? Because you don't need the extra fuel to reburn in the catalytic converter. So you run a leaner mixture, and you get better gas mileage, right? Isn't that a thing? And then the leaner mixture, you may have to do some adjustments to your timing so you don't get pinged, because you're going to get more likely to get pinged with a leaner mixture. What's he really like? He's angry. He got abused as an employee and a life partner. And his ex-wife was nice to him, but before that, he had abusive women in his life. He's been through some really difficult times, and when it's just me and him, he has a lot of hurt inside from the way that he's been treated by people, taken advantage of it so much in his life. Later in life, the company that he was retired from, they took good care of him. But there was just a lot of people. He's a good person, and he wears his heart on his sleeve, and people see that as a weakness and then try to take advantage of him. He's a sweet man. He never deserved that kind of abuse from people. But I take good care of him. I really do. I look out for him. I make sure he's been eating better and lower stress, and he's working on his projects, and he's transitioned from, into retirement. It's very difficult. And I think that we're settling okay. Abusive women are called wives. Not always. I know lots of good women who are wonderful wives of men who maybe don't deserve it even. But, there's one terrible wife. That's a better story than 100 good wives. It really is. Man bites dog. A dog bites man is nothing, but man bites dog is evening news. It's one of those things. I'm looking out for him, Tim. I really am. And he looks out for me. He thinks about my future, and that's very sweet of him. I don't know. And we've worked hard to have things to look forward to. Like this summer, we want to drive our cars. We want to be able to go places, spend time with people. We're being very careful with our money so that we can enjoy the things that we want to do, right? Because I don't know about you, but I am not independently wealthy. And if you're not really careful, there's not enough to go around. And like in the winter, when the heating bills are high, there's really not much left over. But if we're very frugal about
Oh,
what, like we don't go out and eat.
oh, you moved the heater.
Oh, my feet are so
That's
cold.
fine. Put it over there by. I'll survive.
My feet are so
Oh,
cold.
maybe we can share it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, in the wintertime when the
Well,
bills are high.
if we move this out of the way, we can share the heat better.
Okay, I'm great.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that.
that'll work. Just put it there, so we still have that. But
I need something.
bring it a little, and we got paper down here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, which is a good idea.
yeah, that'll catch on fire really well.
I didn't even deserve to be with myself. Dr. Go, you do have a great wife, but I think she has a pretty good husband, so it works out.
She's pretty nice.
Yeah. See, there you go. There's an example that goes. Mr. and Mrs. Go.
The goes.
They're fantastic. They're great for each other. They both seem like really great people, you know? But that's not news, right? That's like plain. But like there's plenty of examples, you know?
If not, Kim, will you advance timing racing at the no-name nationals? Well, she'll probably advance to the point where it doesn't quite ping, and it'll always be like that.
Yeah.
Whether she's on the street or on the drag strip.
I Hippie Long, I don't think so. I don't know that it would do much. What would it do if I advanced the timing a couple extra degrees?
It's a stock. It's an almost stock slant six. The head's been ported, but other than that, it's stock. Okay, we got commercials coming up. 18 seconds.
But Hippie Long, in my understanding of how that engine runs, I don't think there's a whole lot to be gained by fussing too much with the timing once you have it right. But maybe if you were really, really trying to hone it in, you might be able to get a little more out of it. But I don't think I'm definitely not that close with the tuning right now. Like right now, I just have whatever jets came in that carburetor, and yeah, I don't think timing's going to make a whole lot. Like I have the timing set proper, so it shouldn't need a lot of change. I understand where getting it right makes a big difference. Tim says I really am going to try my best to make it to the No Name National.
Oh, well, that'd be great.
That'll be awesome. You'll surely make it if you try your best. If you need help with something, let us know, and we will see if there's something we can do to make it better. Dr. Go says he's only been married for 10 years, but so worth waiting a lifetime. Second marriages and later life marriages are often really good ones because people have time to grow as individuals and choose whether they want to be in it or not.
Look at all the ads.
Oh, a bunch of people got a car fiber ad. I don't know what that is. A Google Play ad, family healthcare ad, Harbor Freight ad, a shipped ad. All right, you all get 2 points for your ads. Thank you for enduring advertising. It helps pay for all the bits, all the kilobits. It looks like, over 4,000 kilobits per second. That's got to cost a lot of money. So the advertisements go to pay to keep the kilobits running.
Tim says, I was wondering, he says, my goal is to drive my old truck to No Name Nationals. I was wondering if you're going to take the truck.
That's a nice looking old truck.
Yeah.
You'll get a lot of compliments on it. And people will, yeah. That'll be great. I hope you can make it. It seems like you've got it mostly together. Now that you have some good weather, it'll come together quick, hopefully. It's hard waiting around for it to be the right time, though.
One-eyed cat. True green, I'm racking up the points tonight.
Woohoo!
But then Mexican Spec says, just fiber ad, Kim. Car is his name. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that car. She read the end of Old MacDonald.
sorry, old McDonald. Mexican Specs, thanks for setting me right. Um,
Danny boy, mega transfers. Is that an ad?
I don't know. If it is, he gets 2 points. If not, he has to tell us what the heck he's talking about. Dr. Go had an ad about how fast I can read, and he couldn't keep up seriously. That's okay. You still get 2 points. Sometimes you get the bad cards. You're trying. Mike's calling the cops. Why?
What Mexican spec do?
I don't know. Hippie
Oh,
Long, I'd sure like to take.
because his wife was 8 years old in 1997. Really? Man.
Hippie Long
Yeah.
says he'd love to take his stock 64 Dart with the 273 4-speed to the strip, and he wonders if the 7 1/4 with the shore grip will hold. Hippie Long, it should. Don't beat on it, but you should be able to launch pretty hard. Unless if it's a relatively stock 273, you should be fine because you have the shore grip. The 7 1/4 with a shore grip is pretty strong, but don't just. I,
Mike Murphy
it
says,
ought to be okay.
Mike Murphy says, I'm so close to your wife's age. Mexican Specs age. So Mike Murphy's young guy. What does that smell?
That's that welding.
I saw that you making some kind of a orange thing, a tubing thing.
37 years, must be doing something right. Sounds like it. I'll agree with that. I have to get a neighbor to help drop the engine in, get it lined up with the transmission. I can put everything else on it. Slow and steady. Yeah, Tim, once the weather allows. But yeah, getting an engine in and getting it lined up with the transmission, having 2 or maybe even 3 people to have eyes and crawl underneath and adjust the jack while somebody's underneath getting it. Yeah, you need a friend. Yeah.
Now, Mexican Spec says they'll be taking the Fairmont north on Monday the 31st. We'll go live around 1 p.m. Pacific time. See, I've got a doctor's appointment at 1 p.m. Central time, so that's just about when I'll be done at doctor. So Monday, 31st, when I get out of the doctor, I'm going to go
Put a note in your calendar.
Straight to Mexican Spec. What is this?
They're talking about relationships.
Oh, fights. I mean, I don't know what all that's about.
They're talking about relationships.
There's a strange smell in here.
That's that paint burning. It smells like.
Oh, okay. It's just finally drifted over here.
Yeah, and it smells worse.
She's got this big tubing thing with flange welded on it and something she's making. I'm sure she's got a plan. Looks like stuff for the mini bike. See, that's another thing she's working on is a mini bike too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff getting worked on all at once.
This is going to be the intake manifold for the mini bike. Instead of it going out this way, I'm going to have it go towards the front of the bike.
That's an intake manifold?
Yeah.
Where's it stop?
About here.
Ooh, that's going to be like a ram tube.
Yeah.
That's going to be a low RPM thing. Oh, that's kind of gobby looking, but
it is, sir. It is.
It sounded better. It sounded better than it looks.
You would think I don't know how to weld.
It was sizzling like a really nice looking weld. Mexican Spec says there won't be much to see. As you know, Bob, the Sonoran Desert is ugly. What we'll be having. The Sonoran Desert isn't ugly. That's one of my favorite places. I just haven't seen the Mexican side of it much at all. I haven't. All I've seen is Algodones, that small town right on the border. So that'll be interesting. I love the Sonora Desert. Danny Boyd, when I was shopping for fans for my PC rig, I noticed that the best fans are Noctura. Noctura? I wonder if their company mascot is Noctura. Okay, I don't know what all this is. Let's see. Tim says I put one of those air cylinders on my engine hoist. Well, it makes it really handy.
Damn it!
You're one-handed. I've seen people do that, but we've never done that. Put a power cylinder, air cylinder on an engine hoist. Our desert here is flat, a few cactus and nothing much else. You can see Mexican vehicles on the road, though. Dr. Go, how fast are the mini bikes allowed to go? Is there a limit on the speed on the mini bikes?
There is a cap on the speed. I think it's like 45 miles an hour, but I'm not going to remember.
That's pretty fast on a mini bike.
That's pretty fast. Get one of those going back that fast. You got to have some room.
Mike Murphy, to me, growing up around thick woods, I find the desert beautiful. I don't know. When I was 10 years old, we lived in Central California. My dad took us all to, well, he was off work in the summertime. So we went to Arizona in summertime, which is kind of an odd time to go to Arizona. But, man, I love the desert. I was 10 years old, and this is where I belong. You know, it's just the smell and the dryness and what a nice place.
Hey, terrible.
Danny Boyd, a real transmission jack uses hydraulic and air. Danny Boyd says, rule says you can't go faster than 45. Well, it's also a short race. How they shortened the distance, right, Kim? Because people just used to get up to top speed and then ride and ride and ride and ride for the rest of the 8th mile. So they shortened it up. I don't remember what they shortened it to. But Kim had a mini bike that was pretty fast on the top end. It wouldn't get out of the hole very quickly, but it would go fast. It was go like 38, I think, which is one of the faster ones on the top end. It'd be long. I like the big long distance views in the west. Feel claustrophobic in cities now. Danny Wood cities suck. Mike Murphy, I agree, hippie. Old McDonald, Davis Mountain Air Force Base is where I saw my first A-10 flying back in the mid-'80s. They're still flying those things there. There's a wrecking yard real close to there, and my friend Carl, who's gone now, Carl and I used to go at that wrecking yard. It was a U-Bullet kind of place, and A-10's always flying around. Pretty nice scenery for a wrecking yard. Yeah, in Davis Mountain, right there, they have a museum that's a lot of it's outdoors, but they also have buildings. If you like airplanes, SR-71 there, B-29 there, like every airplane the Air Force has ever had there. And they have one that's one building that's space stuff, and they have moon rocks on display. It's pretty interesting. Can't think of the name of that. Museum. Somebody will have it. Jody Pearson, how you doing? I have a 73 CT70 with Chinese 125cc 4-speed with hand clutch. It'll go 48 miles an hour, and I weigh in at 225 pounds. It's silly fun. Yeah, this one, This is a bigger mini bike, this one, and Kim put some kind of a Chinese engine on it. Well, how big is that engine, Kim?
212.
212 cc's?
Yes.
Yeah, hers 212 cc's. But this is the big one. Her small one was whatever the engine. 79 cc's. Buddy car farm went to the desert. I don't know. With a horse with no name. Here comes noise. Noise from Kim. Danny Boyd says, a pair of variable sized pulleys would probably make it accelerate quicker at first. Yeah, that's what this one will have. But this is too big for the whole monkey bike class. Yeah, it's probably right around the property here. Yeah, mine is burnt orange. There's a ton of aftermarket support for those bikes. Yeah, this one's kind of a burnt orange color too. It'd be long. Yesterday I saw snow-covered Sierras out front door and saw a SpaceX launch out my back door from Vandenberg, 50 miles away. Saw separation and return. Oh, that's amazing. See, I lived in San Luis Obispo, so we saw a lot of launches out of Vandenberg because it was really close. But separation, they used just stuff had fallen in the Pacific. They didn't bring it back.
Was I
That's pretty
sitting on
cool.
this while I lost it? That's what it was. I was sitting on it. This whole time I was sitting on it. Didn't know where it was.
Sitting on what?
The springs.
You're sitting on your springs? You didn't notice
Wait, I'm
that?
an idiot.
You didn't notice you're sitting on a bag full of springs? Kim's probably has an oil cooler and will do 70 miles per hour.
An oil cooler would be a good idea.
I don't know, Kim. That thing's going to be too fast, and you're going to go out and use every bit of it. It scares me. Just be careful.
I just don't like the jarring. It has suspension on the front wheel, and it has big round tires. It's too bumpy for me.
Mexican Spec says we're going to mount the camera to the windshield, and my wife will read comments on her phone so we can goes on. You know, that was really fun, and she was there reading that stuff. That was great. Did you see? Oh, what was her name after John Welburn? What was her name? I just watched her.
The travel lady.
The travel lady, yeah. And she had her phone taped to the windshield, and she's videoing going down the road. And she had all this tape on her windshield.
Jody Pearson says, mine is a burnt orange color. There is a ton of aftermarket support for those bikes. Yes, it's just a regular mini bike, but Coleman makes a couple of different lines, and all the parts are available from a ton of different places, and you can buy all kinds of stuff. And this has a torque averter, which is a Comet variable drive belt transmission. And yes, No Name Nationals does not allow it. I bought it before those rules were made. I didn't really buy it to do the No Name Nationals with it, but I have the bike and I want to get it together. I bought all these parts, I started working on it, and then it had to get set aside because I moved to Tennessee. And so now it's been sitting for 2 years. I want to get it running, even if I don't keep it. Just it's worthless sitting there in pieces almost done. You know, it's a basket case at that point, and I am sick of the basket cases. Stuff is getting done around here. The Dart is running and street drivable. It's licensed, insured, the whole 9 yards. The van, I fixed the brakes. It is licensed, insured, drivable on the street. It's all there. I got the Bronco I want to get running. I don't care if it's street drivable. It's an off-road vehicle, but it does have a title and everything like that. I've got the green farm truck. It runs and drives. It's never been anywhere on the road. I want to get it. I got to get the exhaust patched together because right now the exhaust just is wide open. It's kind of loud. I want to get the exhaust patched together, and I want to. I got wheels I have to put on it, and then I want to do some sorting and see if it's worthy of some road, if it can go back on the road, or if it's just a property vehicle. I don't know yet. The Dakota, I didn't really do a video on it, but I got the Dakota. I put the fuel tank and wired an electrical fuel pump into the Dakota. So now the Dakota runs with a carburetor. It's a fuel injected vehicle. It has a carburetor on it now. It starts with the key. It runs. It's 5-speed transmission. It could go down the road if I wanted to. I don't know what I'm doing with that. I'd like to see a V8 in it because this is a 4-cylinder. That's a big project, but it's not a dead vehicle. You can get in it, turn the key, and take it down the road. Somebody could drive it on a trailer. Whatever you want to do with it, it's not a basket case anymore. And I've been doing that, and it's really hard to turn it into a grandiose all video. It's just knickknacks and pieces and parts that don't record well. I've been trying to do it in between storms and cold days and just do this, that, and the other thing. It seems like not much is happening. I put a new exhaust system on the skid loader so that when you start the skid loader, it doesn't blow your ears out and bother the neighbors so much, so that we can do stuff with the skid loader when we need to. I've really been, doesn't seem like I'm getting much done because I'm not starting new projects. I'm finishing some stuff finally. It's fun. Everybody loves starting new projects. Look, will it run? Yeah, it ran. Now, how much do you actually need to do for it to be a real car? It's a lot. That's where the grind is. Like this car. This car was almost done. Will it run? We put the key in and it will run. Will it drive from Dallas, Texas? Sure. But is it a good daily driver? It needed 3 months worth of shop work on it before it's there. And nobody really cares about, the bushings in the trailing arms to the rear end. Because it's not glamorous.
It's not exciting.
No. It's real, though. The Bronco is an 85, and it currently sits with a 2.8-liter Cologne engine in it. And last year I did a will it run on the Bronco, and it does run. It drives. The transmission shifts. Everything seems to be okay, but the engine, as far as we know, the engine block is cracked because I replaced the head gaskets and it didn't help at all. So somewhere the engine block is leaking compression into the 3 months of work. That is 2 weeks on a regular schedule. You're right, it is, but we're not regular. If we were regular, I would have to go to work every day because I would be able to be regular. I would love to be regular. I could do so much if I were.
Danny Boyd, so I want to cut in here for a second. Danny Boyd.
He's so tough on us. Mexican Spec, what did we ever do to you?
Tour Angie, that's who it was.
Tour Angie, thank you.
I don't know. Mexican Spec gives me a hard time.
He's really tough.
It's like, I don't know. I'm retired. Most retired people do. They drink beer and watch TV.
Watch baseball.
What do? We don't drink, and we don't watch TV. We do this stuff, and we're in the shop, and we're making.
We watch a lot of YouTube. In our spare time, we work on cars, and we're entertainers.
What is this, Mike Murphy? I sent Buff a photo a while back during one of these streams. What's that about?
It sounds like Mike Murphy. There is one here, but I have never been a fan.
Did I miss it?
I'm moving in the summer.
I don't usually miss that stuff.
I have a garage, so I'll actually be able to work and get her roadworthy. My Bronco is a 289. I previously had a snowplow Bronco with a 302. Oh, my Bronco is it's a Bronco 2, so it's the little one. So it just has a V6.
It's got a clone engine in it.
And a full-size Bronco would be better. The thing about the Bronco 2 is it's small enough that I think that it's small and light enough that I could trailer it. And I sort of would like to do some off-roading adventure, and I'd like to take it on a trailer so I have like a recovery vehicle. If we break it, we just have to drag it off the trail and put it on the trailer. I know we're in Tennessee. There's places to do off-roading. But that's like a down the road.
Wait till you see Arizona someday. There's all this space. Not that you can go out there and tear it up, but there's places you can go off-roading.
Dr. Go, I don't think that people that don't get their projects done are lazy. I think it's there's different reasons for everybody. If you're working full time and you're working weekends, I mean, you're not going to get very far in your project very fast. It's easy to think, but the doing takes a lot of time. People forget how long it takes to actually do things because there's so much instant gratification. In an hour, they pull it out of the tree row, rebuild everything, and have it like brand new restoration. How long does those like network shows take to build show quality cars
I don't know,
in
like
an hour?
38 minutes with take the commercials away.
It
It's like
takes
38
months,
minutes.
many months.
Well, I was just watching Ian Russell that does all these cars, and he says he went from TV to YouTube, and he goes, YouTube, they do it on their, he and his wife do it, produce it themselves, and they do it on their time frame. And he goes, it doesn't take 38 minutes to build a car. It takes 2 years to build a car. And so they move from one to another, but they go back to them and finish them, but it isn't a 38-minute job like TV presents it,
Yeah, this is like the real thing.
10 seconds to ads.
Mexican spec missed a 73 El Camino here in town. Hit a inline six with a stick shift. It was pretty cool. Yeah, you've been busy though. Sometimes they get away. I figure that's one less person who is in the market to take cars from you though, right? Like now they have a project. They're not going to be searching for more.
So Mike Murphy says, very sentimental when he passed. He said, I don't care what you do with the house, but the tools and Bronco go to my son.
That's awesome. That sounds familiar.
That sounds real
A
familiar.
lot of people feel that way. They don't want their projects and their tools and all that scattered about.
Speedway ad. Buddy Carfano.
Okay, you get 2 points, buddy. Speedway. Now, is Speedway a place to eat? No, that's Rallies.
I think
Speedway a parts store?
I think Speedway. I don't know. There's probably more than one. I know there's gas stations called Speedway.
Oh, that's a gas station. Yeah.
But I don't know if that's what it is. I meant 1970 El Camino, not 73. Oh, 70 El Camino. That's a great body style.
Old MacDonald has a car, knows the dilemma intensely, which is I either have the money and no time, or all the time and no money. Right. And even if you have a little bit of money, if you're not busy working, you can't just spend it lightly on some vehicle. You have to get the purse strings get tight when you're not bringing the money in, and you're like, oh, I better work hard at getting a job. Hey, life is like that, And then you get like, he's retired and he's moving a lot slower. He can't crawl underneath vehicles to do the kinds of things he used to do.
I can get underneath vehicles. I can do it all. I can't get up out. It's like, it hurts to get out from under a car, and sometimes I'll go, and
I can a little bit, right? A little bit, an hour a day or something like that, and I can push a little bit for a couple hours a day, but I don't have any kind of stamina because I have some of you don't know, but I have a neurological dysfunction problem. Like my nervous system is broken from damaged spine in my neck and in my back in multiple places. I've had multiple surgeries, and I just can't get my stamina back. I was in physical therapy for 2.5 years before I had my neck surgery. And after my neck surgery, they haven't even recommended physical therapy. They know I'm hurting. And it's just like, I just do what I can. I'm trying to enjoy the time that I have as best as I can.
See, Buddy Carfano says car parts. Jody Pearson says Speedway is a place to eat where I'm from. So
I think the Speedway around here is a gas station, not a food place. It's Rallies.
It's like there's, I don't know. name that could be used.
Speedy, speedways, speedy place, speeding in 85 and 86, I took a Yamaha VMAX, this is hippie long, snowmobile out of a crate, assembled it, and did 106 miles an hour out of the crate. I was dangling off like a cartoon. Yeah, wow. Old McDonald's has a car, says family comes first, always. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Old project cars are something you do when all the other stuff is in order. Dr. Go says they stayed at the snowcross races for about 3 to 4 hours. It's not cold if you dress for it. Yeah, you got to be ready. But my hands go numb with no gloves so that I can zoom in and out. Worth it though. Yeah, you have to take your glove off, and my feet are what gets cold. I'm usually, my hands are usually okay. Mike Murphy, that is an intense career path. Who are we talking about?
That's probably
Oh, medicine, studying
yeah,
medicine.
it's Mexican spec son.
Ooh, yeah, it is. You got to be really smart. Patrick Sullivan says once your legs go, you lose stability, stamina. You're in a bad way. Yeah, I was in a wheelchair, but that was in 2016. I was in a wheelchair briefly. I could stand up. It wasn't that my legs were paralyzed, but I was so weak that I couldn't walk from the car to the house without being exhausted. So I couldn't go anywhere or do anything without a wheelchair. But I could get out of the wheelchair and set it up into my truck and then walk around the side and get into the truck, which is what I did. Because you have to keep going, because if you stop, they did tell me if you stop, you probably never get up again. So every day I got up and did stuff.
I was laughing at something else. I know, I like what you're talking about that stuff.
No, but the good news is that that's past. Like, I don't need a wheelchair. At Walmart, sometimes I ride the buggy, because walking all the way to the back of Walmart is a long walk.
We're in Walmart one night, and it's huge. We're grocery shopping and buying other stuff, and we're partway through there, and she just sits down. She can't even walk any further. People are saying, "You okay? You okay?" She goes, "Yeah, I just need to sit here for a few minutes." And I walked around, got the rest of the stuff. But then the next time we went in there, she got one of those little
Walmart
buggy things, and she was like kind of apologizing to the guy. She goes, "Well, is it okay if I take it? Because I can walk." And he goes, "Take it." He goes, "Kids come in here and drive all over and crash into each other. We're not allowed to do anything about it. Take it." So now she takes it, and she'll ride and get up in and out of it, ride around, but she's not sitting on the floor, can't move. That kind of sucks.
They said it's okay. There's no benches. There's no place to sit in Walmart. So if you have to sit between the front to the back.
I found a place to sit in Walmart where they have the shoes. There's a little bench. That's the only place that I found. Yeah.
If you can't walk that whole distance without stopping to take a break, a sit-down break, then you have to get the cart, because that's your seat. And if people don't understand that, that's their problem, not mine. I know why I have it, and I know that it's if I take the time to explain it, people are like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." But I don't have to explain it to every living soul, I'm sorry. I don't mean to go on, because the good news is that I have gotten stronger and I am able to walk. And when we're in the shop, the house is right there. So when we're tired, we go home. And then if there's chairs in the shop, if I need to sit down, I stop, I sit down, and I can get a little bit done. And I really enjoy that. I wish I had the energy to do more traveling, because I'd love to enjoy these cars on the road a little better. But maybe this summer we could share some of that. We did okay going to Dallas, but we had to take our time, and hotels get expensive.
That's where Kim and I travel differently, because I get on the road and just go until I drop. So I'll drive like 1,000 miles or 1,200 miles. She can't do that. We'll go 400 miles, and she's had it. She's had it before 400 miles. a lot going on here about people becoming doctors and nurses and stuff. Oh, one-eyed cat. Uh-oh.
Supposed to be cherry red, looks cherry clear. We got a dilemma. Uh-oh. Did you shake the can real good?
Don't you hate that? You start painting something and it changes color part way because you didn't change the can. Does it shake the can well enough?
I don't know. They might have to put more coats, or maybe it needs a more of a solid color underneath. Well, McDonald has 2 torn rotator cuffs and a knee replacement. That would make it tough to get around.
Mexican Spec says, Buff, what is the underlying reason you have a cough? It's I take a medication called lisinopril. And one of the side effects of lisinopril is you get this, I don't know, it's like a tickle, something in my throat. And it's annoying.
Patrick Sullivan knew.
But it...
Blood pressure medication.
Yeah, it's BP med. So my doctor's talked to me about it. Well, we can try something else. It's, I've tried other blood pressure medications. I'm on 2 right now. That's one of them. And I've got the blood pressure under control. And I thought, this thing in my throat, it's mildly annoying. It bothers me more when I'm sitting here talking than anything else. I'll just deal with it. You got to deal with it somehow. Better than having blood pressure that's like 220 over 110, I've had that before. So this is a minor thing.
Buddy Carafona says, I hate using the cart. Can't stand people staring at me in the grocery store. I just don't care anymore. If somebody really asked, I'd show them the scar where I have the metal plates in my back and the fusion, and I have this right here.
I've never seen you do that. Show that.
Is the scar? That's because nobody's that much of a jerk.
Look at that. The scar is here, and then working on the back of her neck, they went in from the front to.
That's how they operated on my spine, was through the front. They said that scar won't really show up because most people have a crease in their neck.
And they're right, because I didn't notice it till you showed it.
No, until I pointed out, nobody really does notice. And I could put makeup on it and it just disappears, but sorry if we're... Thanks everybody for being here. I'm sorry if we missed anybody's comments.
Well, we've missed some comments.
We appreciate it. And anybody, I already said, and everybody kind of knows, but I'm Kim of Kim Fixes Things. And you can find my channel also on YouTube, but instead of at Buff Del Campo, it's at Kim Fixes Things. And some of my projects we work on exclusively over there, because they're just me working on my stuff. And then, but when we're doing lives and when we're working on his things, or when we're doing things that are around the shop together, comes here on Buff Del Campo, and this is your host, Buff Del Campo.
What is this? Okay, I'm glad it isn't mild pneumonia. No, it's just it's just an annoying thing, and we've talked about it, and it's a personal decision. Because I've been on many different blood pressure meds, and they're some have some side effects, some don't work as well. The ones I'm on right now work so well. It's just my blood pressure's like 120 over 70, and if I don't take the meds, I'm not kidding, it's like 220 over 110. So I'm pretty happy with this. Patrick Sullivan, what's up for the channel next project? Man, I don't know. This thing will be out of here. We'll either bring the Valiant in, and
we're either going to make the Valiant into a Ute, which we have the parts body-wise to do that, but it's a big project.
Yeah, make it like an El Camino.
Or we're going to bring in the little car, the Spitfire,
and tear the body off that. Well, we'll have to get it running first. Make sure it runs.
Get it running.
So it'll be a get it running.
And build an aluminum body.
And then we'll build an aluminum body.
You know what I think?
If it runs. If it doesn't run, we'll push it back outside.
We haven't fully decided yet. I think we should work on the Ute because it's bigger, and the Spitfire fits in the garage so nice.
So Spitfire might be a better winter project next year.
That's like sort of my thoughts on it.
That's probably pretty good. The down under Australia, New Zealand, they have a thing called a Ute. They call it Chrysler called it a Wayfarer, and it's a Valiant pickup truck, just like an El Camino or a Ranchero, but it was Chrysler's version of it. They never had that car here, but Tavo from South Australia, it's his daily driver. He has one of those, and I just love that thing. And I started thinking about doing that, and he sent me a lot of pictures and dimensions and how Chrysler did it, and some close-up stuff on his car, and some close-ups on pictures of ones that were in junkyards that were all torn apart so I could see the structure. It's like, I think I can do that without a lot of trouble. But you know how major projects are. You dive into something, and then there's a lot of work. But I think we could do that. It'd be kind of like Ian Russell with, it's not a 38-minute project. It's 2 years. So, we might get into it, and it might take longer than I want. But I don't know. I see some places where I'm going to have a little trouble. Back window, we'll probably have to have a back window made. But it'll be flat. It's like, okay, so you have to have a piece of flat glass cut. The good thing about those cars is they use it's a 4-door Valiant, and the Utes down under use the short doors, the 4-door doors. They're not the long 2-door doors. So it's the right set of doors. It's all the right stuff. So I think we'll be able to do it. And we have a pickup bed here that I'll use the floor of that pickup bed. Patrick Sullivan, well, if I have the throat meds switched off, then pretty quick. It's Dr. Go. We can all hopefully look at our scars with the realization that we survived something that wasn't necessarily pleasant. Yeah, you went through a bad one. Yeah, now I'm finding out that night that I got in that crash, it did something to my neck. I'm pretty steady physical therapy right now.
He finally made the decision to go see a physical therapist.
Well,
and it's helped.
My primary care physician normally would recommend somebody and work that all out. But she doesn't have any time. She goes, I said, I got a couple things I want to ask you. And in her answers, I have time for one question and make it quick. Well, we never got to that. So at some point, I just went to a place, and they're taking care of me, and I'm really glad I found them. They're, man, that's a young guy, that doctor. He's not that young. But for me, he's 37, and I started thinking about it. He's born born in 88, I think. Jeez.
Mexican
this
specs.
Young guy.
Chrysler had a Ute in the U.S. You just don't want it. They weren't terrible. Remember what was his Rampage or something like that?
I almost bought a new one, but I didn't buy it.
That was in the 80s.
You know what 80s. I bought? You know this story.
Do you?
I think.
Okay.
I was going to buy it. I think Mexican Specs heard me tell this story before. I was going to buy a Rampage for my radiator shop as a delivery vehicle. But I ended up buying what's that thing called? It's like a Pinto. A Mercury, somebody will put it up. Mercury Bobcat wagon, which I made into a little van. And then that got wrecked, and I had an employee that destroyed it. And then I built up another Pinto. I built up a couple of more Pintos with those van, the panels on the back. That's perfect for a radiator shop because it's light duty delivery vehicle. So saved me having payments on a new car. But I do kind of like those. I like the Rampage, but that's not a car that I want to have to restore,
Yeah, there's nothing like that around here that's in.
Patrick Sullivan. Patrick Sullivan got it. Says Bobcat. Get a couple points. Danny Boyd says Bobcat Villager, which it was. It starts grinding. So old McDonald's taking off. Good night. Take care.
What's a Bobcat Villager?
So a Bobcat Villager is like a pinto wagon that's still in the crate. It's got phony baloney wood down the sides. Yeah, I said noisy. So
Noises.
Buddy Carpenter should have bought chop top ramp. Man, that was a deal too. That car was inhuman. Yeah, I should have bought that. I had money then too. I had a good job. Why the hell Ford didn't make a Ranchero out of the Pinto, I don't know. That would have been a cute little car. They probably would have sold it. You know how Pinto got such a bad rap for, you know, one of them got rear-ended by a second-gen Camaro going 70 miles an hour when it was sitting still on a big old fire. So, and sadly, the Pinto wagon is a whole different structure back there, so didn't affect that thing. Those are great cars. And with the V6 in it, it was a pretty decent car. Kim tells me those V6s aren't that good, but man, back then I had good radiators because of course I had a radiator shop, so they ran thermostat temperature. So they were always good cars for me. I never put a V8 in any of the Pintos, but I built a lot of radiators for other people that did. That's a thing. Villager people. Well, I'm glad you're getting help for your neck. Also, so glad you went in to get checked out when you had that accident. Better. Yeah, I wasn't going to. And there were people that stopped there. There were three women that stopped that didn't know each other. They just happened to be three women that stopped. And all three of them, they were some kind of healthcare people. All three of them were like, just go to the hospital. Go. Just take the ride in the ambulance. Go, go, go. I'm like, I feel fine. But then it's like, you got adrenaline flowing, just go. And they were right. I wish I could thank them, but I don't know who those people were.
When you came home and cramped up and were feeling awful like that, you'd have been so scared not having been checked out.
Oh, my head, by the time I got to the hospital, I moved my head around. Something was crackle in my neck. It's like, oh, something happened. I'm glad I went. Yeah, and they did a CT scan and everything and said, you don't have any broken bones, but you got arthritis and there's problems because of that. And I said, I don't have arthritis. And they go, yeah, you do. Oh, yeah, you do. You're 70. Of course you have arthritis. I'm like, all right. Hippie long. I love the Splinto. The Splinto. Yeah, Mexican spec. A few Pincheros were made by people. Yeah, I've seen them around. I've got pictures of some of them. I almost showed a couple of them on the live on Tuesday night, but I thought, nah, I'm not gonna do that. But I guess I could. It wasn't the right year. What were we doing? Oh, 56, yeah. Hippie long ambulance costs too much. Somebody else paid for that. That was the guy that ran me off the road. Mm-hmm. Hey Kim, we got max headroom. Can I just pour water on this camera to cool it off?
Yeah, water works good. That has no effect on electronics. Just make nice distilled water.
That probably sounded good. I'm trying to blow some air through that. Kim drilled holes in the camera to let air out of it. But,
yeah. Still not quite right. Yeah, just use distilled water so that it doesn't hurt the other.
But Clark, honestly, I think the gas tank behind the seat and pickup truck is worse than the Pinto. Yeah, I don't know. You know what's bad about the Pinto? The little coupes, when you hit them in the back, think about the shape of them. When you hit them in the back, they pooch out like this, and it will pull the filler neck out of the gas tank. Well, besides it pulling the filler neck out, it's squishing the gas tank, so it just shoots gas all over the place. So what Ford did on the fix was they put a much longer filler neck on there, so when it gets hit in the back end, it can't possibly pull out. Then they put a shield between the gas tank and the rear end, so it wouldn't rip open there. 10 seconds, we got ads again. So I'll be quiet for a minute.
More ads. I mean, yay, more ads.
So maybe they're over. Mexican Spec says I missed something. Oh, the thing about the gas tanks behind the back seat in the trucks, they were like that on everything until the 70s, I think. That's just where a gas tank was, you know. I don't remember anyone ever having a problem with them other than they leak and then smell the gas, and you know you'd have to replace the tank or get it fixed. I fixed a lot of those tanks. If they get rust in the bottom, you can't fix it, or you shouldn't fix it. Just replace it. The Mercury's always had more fake wood on the side than the Fords. The Mercury was just wood, like with a chrome stripper on it, and the Fords had the wood with a fiberglass, like an exterior surround piece of phony baloney wood stuff. So I had a Mercury uh, Bobcat like that, and then I had one of the Pintos, and I took all that wood off all of them. I know, but why is it that bad if the truck is on its wheels? Questions Buff, your nickname, or is your name Buffered? Buffered. It's buffering. Now, Buff is a nickname, obviously. Maybe a shot of compressed air for the cam every now and then again. Paul says, "Oop, got pulled away back there." Oh, Dr. Go says, no ad. Mike Murphy says, I got a DPRK ad. Baloney. What are they advertising? A DPRK ad. What are they advertising? They want you to come to the Hermit Kingdom? Mike Murphy, you didn't really get anything from the DPRK, did you? Kevin Smith, he said can't. Well, hippie long, Viagra and Vaseline. You guys are starting to give me a hard time. Daryl B is here. Subaru ad. Yeah, Subaru. We get quite a few Subaru ads. Car people, you know. Tim says, I saw a weird car on the web. Someone took a orange 71 Demon and cut the roof and made a bed in it like an El Camino. Gave me a headache just look at. Yeah, that's the wrong body style to do that to, although if that's what they want. One-eyed cat, Aparian. Aparian? Kim, what's Aparian? Aparian supplements. Some kind of supplements. One-eyed cat got. Mike Murphy says, joke, it was cap cut. Actually, yes, but on Mercury they had the wood from the top of the body line all the way down. The Fords had it in the middle. Yeah, the Fords, like I said, the Fords had that fiberglass outer wood panel, and the Mercury's had like a chrome strip around it. I kind of like the Ford wood stuff. You know, when it was new, it looked kind of nice sometimes, I guess. I always want to take one of the old ones and put fiberglass bricks, put bricks where the wood had been. See, I thought that'd look cool. That'd look really heavy, wood. Like cars made out of bricks. It was a demon that looked like mine before they cut it up. Depends on why they cut it up, you know. That's the only thing about mine. I'm taking a car that's actually in pretty good shape and cutting it. It's like, wow, I don't know. Somebody might really hate me for that, but I'm going to make it into a good car. And I'm going to make it basically resemble another Chrysler product that's done in Australia, that was done in Australia. Next spec. Was that car in the Midwest? Rednecks do things like that. Patrick Diddy move. Yeah, Mexican spec says, remember, guys, the ads you get tells us all about you. Yeah, the ads are geared towards like searches you make and things you say that your phone picks up and so forth. But uh, you know, we see patterns here. We see patterns here with like Granger, a lot of Granger ads, which would make sense, you know. Hippie long. My folks had a '72 Mercury wagon, wood grain, loaded. I had a '68 Mercury wagon for a while that had wood on it and everything, and I gave it away. I got it in some trade deal, and it was sitting there and didn't run. It cranked and cranked and cranked, wouldn't start, and I didn't feel like screwing with it because I was really busy. And I had an employee that didn't have a car. I said, "You can have that if you want it," and he got it running. I don't remember what was wrong. Put a distributor in it or something. It had a 390 in it, and he drove it around for a while. Geez, he went in the Navy, and he was in the Navy about a year, and he got killed in a motorcycle accident. You know, he's in the Navy and spent his money on some really fast motorcycle. Ate it one night. HD Supply and Granger, Mike Murphy.
We know our people. Know the kinds of things that we're about.
And Dave Stevenson's going on about something about pooping parakeets. What the hell? Let's see, next spec. The Colony Park theme. Oh, the Colony Park theme. That was a nice car. Yeah, that '68 Mercury I had was Colony Park. Oh, it's a nice car too. The interior was good and everything. I think back on that, it's like, why did I give that away? But the guy needed a car, and I didn't need it.
Needed work.
And I had
busy.
I had too many projects, and my work was busy.
Yeah. And it wasn't anything special. It was just a regular car at that point.
Oh, that was in, when did I give that away? Probably about 1978. Yeah, it was a 10-year-old station wagon. You know, they were everywhere.
Yep. Couldn't give them away.
Well, I could give it away. He fixed it, drove it for a while. I think he sold it. Probably made some money. Kevin Smith, right? I am 64. Kevin Smith, come on, we know people. 64. Mexican spec. I had a 70 Colony Park when I was 17. Love wagons with the covered headlights. Dean Stevenson, fretting plastic, sends me spastic. Kevin Smith, little blue pills first. Then all right, all right. Drive-in movie yachts. Oh man, my parents used to take us to drive in a 56 Ford wagon. They just put the seats down in the back, and they had a mattress back there. All the kids would lay down on the mattress, put their pillows up, rest their heads on the back of the front seat. My parents would sit up there. Yeah, that was a pretty good thing. My mother would bring food instead of buying it there. Like bring food, eat food, watch a movie, and then later, I don't know. I didn't do much of the drive-in thing when I was a teenager. I was kind of crass, take some girl to the drive-in. Colonoscopy part. That name's speaking up stuff. Dr. Go, heading out, work tomorrow. Oh man, you got work tomorrow? Yeah, it's late. Okay, have a good night. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you, Dr. Go. Check out Dr.
Patrick Sullivan.
Go's.
I'm gonna guess everyone here is 50 plus. No, we got some younger people too.
Yeah, we're old. That's right. Much older.
Jeez. Don't take the chewable Viagra. You'll end up with a stiff tongue.
Or a stiff upper lip.
Stiff upper lip. Jeez. Now tell us what movies we saw in the drive-in. I'll tell you what my parents used to take us to.
I saw Tron.
Which was, we were young. Okay, now you got to remember, this is like early 60s. It was Jerry Lewis movies, and he was a slapstick kind of comedy things. And it's something we could go as a family, and we all laughed about it. Paul Pajui, hey, how you doing? Just stopped in to say hello. Well, good, thank you. It's a fun place to be sometimes. Tim says, that was a winter car I had, 68 Country Squire wagon. So I could park my Demon for the winter. That's why I bought that Jeep we have now that has become our primary car. I bought that in Maryland to be a winter car because it was all-wheel drive and it was cheap. But
I know, you got that car so cheap.
It turned out to be a really good car, yeah.
We drive it every day. It's such a good vehicle.
Drive it every day. We took it to Texas. Kim drove it down from Maryland. Yeah, it's a great car. It has like a tiny little, two little bubbles of rust in one spot, but even underneath it's pretty clean.
It isn't bad.
It isn't bad at all.
Not for a northern vehicle.
So, I mean, then the Mazda got wrecked. That made that $1,000 Jeep into our primary car, and that thing's worth way more than $1,000 to me. Man, I wouldn't sell that car for $1,000. I would sell that car for $5,000.
It's not worth $5,000.
No, but I mean that's how much I want it.
Yeah, it's probably worth $2,500. With pretty easily, honestly. I think somebody buy for $2,500, they would never complain if they took care of it. But it's not like it doesn't use oil. It doesn't.
No, that thing goes between oil changes. They're like half quart low. Who cares,
Yeah, it doesn't give you anything. It's a really nice little vehicle. It's a really good one.
What's this one eye cat says? And heartburn. I missed whatever that's about. Let's see here. Mexican spec. Oh my God, I would love to have one. I grew up in the back seat of a 68 Galaxy 500 two-door hardtop. Man, I remember that car. That was a car Ford made a big deal out of. The back window on the 67 came down at kind of a fastback, and it was straight. In the 68, it came down, it was kind of V'd down like this in the middle of that back window on that big fastback top. And the reason is they did that so you could see out the back better. I don't know if you Mexican spec probably knows all that because he knows everything. This is One-Eyed Cat. Sorry I'm back. Just got off the phone with Dish again. Oh, Matt, you're still fighting with them. Dean Stevenson, it's neck and neck with the two guys. I'm not going to read that. See, Jerry Lewis, the bellboy. You know what? That is the movie I really remember going with my parents to drive-in was The Bellboy. I remember that. And back then Volkswagens were kind of a new thing, and he was told to go get everything out of the trunk. And he went out to his Volkswagen, he takes the engine out, and he comes up, and the woman knocks on the door, and the woman opens the door in the room, and he hands her the engine to her car, and she dropped it on the floor. I'm talking about slapstick stuff. Oh, man.
That's utter silliness.
Utter silliness, but it was funny. Oh, and as kids, we were little kids, but we understood that the Volkswagen, the engine was in the back, and why he thought that was get out of the front. It was funny then. Let's see here. Kevin Smith, in my 63 Mercury Turnpike Cruiser, I could sneak at least 6 or 7 of my buddies into the drive-in. Yeah, so you went to the drive-in to sneak people in, not really to go see the movie. The activity was sneaking people in.
They knew kids snuck in.
Of course they did.
I mean, they did care, but they...
No such thing as a 63 Turnpike Cruiser. No, that was a 50s thing. Yeah, it was something like that. Okay, that's getting away from me. I gotta skip some. It says Mexican specs like 63 Mercuries, including one S55. I remember that designation, the S55. That was a small car, wasn't it? That was an intermediate or small car. I don't remember which. My friends laughed when I bought that wagon until they found out I kept pillows and blankets in the back for drive-in night. Easy Rider. Kevin Smith, mine had the Turnpike Cruiser roof with electric back window. Wonder what year that was. Let's see. They weren't called Turnpike Cruisers in 63. They're just Monterey's.
All right, I'm going to see if I can start it with the...
Oh, you're going to start? You're going to do it first?
It'll start with the poll rope. I don't think it will. Wait, let's take a poll. Type 1 if you think it'll start.
Okay. She says type 1 if you think it'll start. Type 2 if you think she will not have any success starting it. So let's give them a chance to type. 1 for a go, 2 for no go.
1 for go, 2 for no. Yeah.
She's taking her jacket off so she can start yanking on the...
It's getting warm in here. It's over 70 degrees.
I'm a little on the cool side.
It came up about 4 degrees.
Buddy Carbono says 2. Patrick Sullivan, there is no 1.5. Mike Murphy.
Mike Murphy knows.
1. Full Faith. Paul Pachui. 1. Dean Stevenson put up a barber pole. Is that a 1?
One-Eyed Cat says no.
Tim says third try.
Fine, Dawn. Your paint's red.
Third try is a start. One-Eyed Cat, 2. It's not going to start. All says, okay, we got them all up there. You got to go before this all swims away.
Okay.
So what do they get? Are they going to get points if it starts?
Yeah, if they get it right.
Ooh,
they get it right. And then if this doesn't work, we'll do it again with the electric start.
Mexican spec says 1, of course.
Come on, you. Okay, it's on. The spark plug's in.
Got gas in it?
It's got gas in it. Here, I'll give it a little more gas.
I hear something fired.
Is that the thunder?
It fired a little more. It started. What is it, a wide open header?
Yeah.
Okay, all the ones win. What do they get? They get a couple points? I smell exhaust all the way over
You
here.
get 4 points if you picked one for believing in me and being right. Yeah, 4 points. That's big. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Olive. Paul. Who else gets them up there? Mike. I mean, you get them whether I call your name or not.
I gotta go down here a little bit. But Carfano,
Patrick.
You said 2. Patrick Solar 1.5.
Mexican Spec. Thank you. See, look at all these people. Look at all you. Thank you, everyone. I did not.
Hippie long.
I was
5.
I was feeling the pressure there because I was pulling the thing. I wasn't even using
the starter, the electric starter.
I was doing it the hard way.
Oh, so she made a big long intake manifold that started. Okay, let's see here. Patrick Sullivan, was the old aluminum 215 as hot as my dad made it out to be? You know what? It was a light engine or a light car, and it was so good. The Buick version of it, which is similar, ended up being sold to the British. And are they still building that thing? All those V8 British cars, Rovers, and all that stuff had that same engine in it. Oh, I really like those 215 Oldsmobiles.
Right. What was that? What did that start as?
A 215 Olds and a 215 Buick. And the Olds, you could get it with it was one of the very first, might have been the first turbocharged car available in the U.S. And they had an air cleaner that fit down over the carburetor, and it sealed around the intake manifold. And they pressurized that hood that went over the carburetor. And that was, so I don't know. It was, I really like that engine. And you know who you talk to about that engine is Dallas Brown from the AHRA, because he's really into those things. Fastang 89. Hello, good evening. Danny Boyd says Jetfire. Yeah, the Jetfire. Hippie Long, I was closest. Dean Stevenson, Fastang 84 plus 5. Been a minute since I've been around. What's new? Oh man, Kim went over a lot of stuff. This car's still sitting in here, but you know, Mexican Specs giving us kind of a hard time because we're taking so long with this. But we did a lot of stuff to this car, mini bike, did brakes on a Dodge Dart. It's like we got a lot of stuff going. Mike Murphy says he has 1,467 points. I don't think that's right.
I haven't given out that many points to everyone put together.
Mexican Spec says we didn't hear the start. The mic might have blocked it out. Well, I didn't know she didn't have an exhaust system on it, so it's just firing out the side of it.
It blocked it out.
It just firing out. It sounded like a machine gun in here. It ran. Dean Stevenson, 265 points, 215 horsepower. Oh, 200 not points, 265 pounds. 215 horsepower is a turbo. See, I wanted to take one of those and build it. They had a little short automatic, aluminum automatic transmission. I don't know what that thing was. It was really short. I wanted to build a 3-wheeler motorcycle with one of those when I was young, but just one of those projects you think about and never get to. I had too many projects. Mexican Spec. It's 10:18 here, and I am sitting in my room. It's warm in here. So yeah, Tim says Kim made a single barrel tunnel ram. She did.
Yeah.
Mike Murphy, Kim is really good with carbs. I didn't have any doubt.
I had doubts.
Hippie Long says I wanted to do a Buick in a Monza Corvair. And you know, that would have been lightweight back there. You know who? This guy that's usually in here, I think he left already tonight, but 38 Racing, he did he's got a Corvair that he did What's the short V6 Chevy? 4.3. Ah, here we go. Ads. Ads interrupting me. So anyway, 38 Racing did a Corvair with a V6 Chevy, 4.3 Chevy, and then I had a friend that did one with a with an Oldsmobile Tornado setup, a 425 Olds, and I did the cooling system on that one. Ran tubes underneath like a Pantera, ran tubes underneath, cut some little slits in the front, had fans and had a radiator up in the front, and so I'm sure you could figure out a way to do a 215 Buick or 215 Olds in
I'm
a
going over
Corvair.
to the house.
You're going to the house?
Yeah, the Samson engine over there has the right exhaust.
Oh, you're going to go over to the house and get parts.
I'm going to go steal it.
Okay. You going to take a radio with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a radio right here.
Breaker, breaker, roger, roger.
Oh, these stupid Chinese
yeah, if
radios.
you need anything from the house while I'm over there. Open. Open 2 radio. Open 3 radio. Open 4 radio. Open 5 radio. Hold on. Smells like weird gas over here.
The weird gas.
Oh, it stinks like that weird gas.
That's Sean's gas out of his Z car.
Oh, I want to get this done so I can clean this mess up. What a mess.
Yeah, if the hood isn't behaving itself, put a cone of silence over it and pressurize. Yeah, a Buick, aluminum Buick and a Corvair would be pretty nice because it doesn't weigh a lot.
I'm going to throw a couple pieces of firewood.
What's this buff? The Air Shop rebuilt air box and made all the new hoses and put it back together in 2 days. In the Fairmont, your car is there for wiper bushings. Yeah, the wiper bushings I got, they're not right. They're not going to work. So I'm going to have to, we went over that. We're getting stuff we got to do.
He is rough. Is that Mexican spec?
Yeah, they did theirs. And yeah, well, it's a professional. I used to do them in 2 days in my shop, but that's, it's for a customer. And that's when I work like at least 8 hours a day.
If we do all the work, then we just have to build another one. Good, we've taken our time.
Oh, Mike Murphy just got duet dating app ad. Hippie Long Honda ad. Yeah, I've seen people say Hondas quite a few times. Acme Stores commercial. What's an Acme store? I'm not even sure what Acme Stores is. Kids and their toys. Mexican spec says. Kevin Smith says 4.3 engine is bulletproof. I had one of those in one of those mid-sized Chevy vans, the original Chevy minivan. What's that thing called? What the heck was that? Somebody will come up with it. Yeah, I had a 4.3 in one of those. That was a great engine. Way better than I expected it to be. Kevin Smith, Acme Fresh Market, Akron, Ohio. Tim says, I have 4.3 in my 01 Silverado. Runs great. Oh, that'd leave some room in the engine compartment, too. Silverado. Yeah, Astrovan. Yeah, I had an Astrovan for a while. Bought it at an auction. And then we kind of kept it around as a shop vehicle for a while. What made that deal is it had a hitch on it, and I had a tow dolly. So when I go to the auction, I take the tow dolly with me, at least be able to bring one car home. And that thing towed cars down the highway 70 miles an hour. I thought it was going to be a real dog, and it wasn't. It's fine. Fast Tank says they made an all-wheel drive version too. Oh, what was that? The Astrovans? They could have. Mike Murphy, I didn't know that the Astros actually came in stick. Yeah, this one had this one had a 4.3 and an automatic. Fastest selling Astro van I ever had, and I ever had an Iron Duke 4-cylinder. The guy was looking for one for a while. Man, I like the Iron Dukes. Of course, when I liked the Iron Dukes, they were brand new engines. You know, I put one in a Dodge Dart, pulled out the slant, and put the Iron Duke in it, and drove it around for years. Open up the hood, air cleaner right there, stock air cleaner. It says keep your GM vehicle all GM. And the fan was like this far from the radiator because it's a little short engine in there. It was worked fine. Oh, and I had to run the torsion bars way down. I got finished that swap, and the front of the car was sitting way up in the air. I ran the front end down to where it normally sits, so the car was a lot lighter. Mexican Spec says Astros were new when I worked at Chevy. They're really good bands. Patrick Sullivan says I wanted an Astro van when married with kids. Wound up in Voyagers. Kevin Smith says Astro would do a burnout in any pavement. I never did anything like that with mine. We used to. It was a workhorse. We towed cars back from the auctions or give somebody a ride occasionally. Buddy Carfano always wanted to put a 3.8 supercharged motor in an Oldsmobile minivan. Oldsmobile minivan? You mean like the ones that had the big dustbuster snoot on the front? Big tapered front end? What was that thing called? Silhouette? I had a Pontiac Transport that was one of those dustbuster looking vans. I liked that thing, but the one I had was it had problems, but it wasn't because of the car. It's because the previous owner didn't maintain it. I'm sorry, Patrick. Chrysler vans are junk. That's what Fast Tank says. Paul Pachui, it's a 305 less 2 cylinders. Is that what it is? Yes, 4.3 liter. 305 is 5 liters. So, yeah, that sounds about right. Fast Tank's mini vans, that is. Mexican Spec says maybe 350 less 2 cylinders. It's been a long time. Well, 350 is 5.7 liters. So I don't know, divide by 8 times 6. What does it come out? Kevin Smith, my Astra had 285,000 miles when it was totaled. I hate it when cars get wrecked. That Mazda was such a nice driving car, and in an instant it was a piece of shit, just destroyed. Of course, I wouldn't have this now. I wouldn't have this Fox body. So I'm glad I got that. I wouldn't know all the good people I know at the place where I go get the physical therapy. They're all a bunch of good people that I met because the guy ran me off the road. Yeah, whatever. Mike Murphy had a Caravan that was wheelchair modified. Thing was junk. Huh. Did the wheelchair go in the side or the back? I know a woman had a full-size Ford van, and her wheelchair went in the back. There was a lift back there, and then she just roll up forward. Didn't have a front seat in. She just locked the wheelchair up there. She had some kind of locking mechanism. And then I know some people, their lifts are on the side, which is the original reason for handicap parking spaces. And that's why they're wide, is so you can get that wheelchair in and out the side. The Oldsmobile Silhouette. Let's see here. Yeah, I've worked on a few. I think they had a 3.3. 3.3. Not sure what the 3.3 is. Oh, maybe this car I have, they call that a 3.3 now. It was always called a 200 cubic inch 6, and now you go buy parts and it's a 3.3. Paul Pajui said it was a 350. Patrick Sullivan, Mitsubishi 2.6, I think it was. Dean Stevenson, 305 minus 2 cylinders is 229. 262 minus 2 cylinders is a 200. 350 minus 2 cylinders is a 262. Okay, so it's a 350. 262 is, which one is 4.3? Four cylinder was Chrysler vans. Oh yeah, Chrysler vans had 4 cylinders. They had a 3.0 that was a pain in the ass engine, and they had they had the 3.3, which is a good engine. I used to go to the auctions. Man, the guys that were buyers, they'd go over there and there'd be a Dodge van coming through. Man, everybody come around and they open up the hood and that 3.0 is in there. Everybody walk away. If it had the 3.3 in it, that thing, it'd bid right up. You know, nobody wanted that 3.0. Dust Duster bands, you have to grab your kid by the ankles to clean the windshield. Oh man, I had a big long thing on a. You couldn't reach that windshield. When I worked in were late 90s, early 2000s. Dean Stevenson, 3.8 Buick Turbo in the Monte Carlo, 2 years. Did they do that in the Monte Carlo? Huh. I knew they did it in the Buicks. Next, inspect the Caravan to find it's an early 4-cylinder with a stick shift. They're bringing money today. Really? See, I had a friend that had his wife bought one of those. One of the very first Caravans I saw had a 4-cylinder in it, and he and I had a shop together. And she brought it in there for something, and we're looking at it. It was one of the very first ones I'd seen. You know, we're looking at it, and I said, "You know what we need?" I said, "We need to put the whole drivetrain from an old Toronado in this." You know, and she's like, "No, you're not." She got in the car and left. Because we do something like that. Was the same shop where I put the Pontiac Iron Duke in the in Dodge Dart, and we did strange stuff like that. She knew to get her new car out of there before we started cutting it apart. Tim's 4.3 is a 350 with two of the center 2 cylinders taken out. Same specs on the camshaft and heads. Mike Murphy, wheelchair went through the side. That was the most reliable part of the van. Mike Murphy, even my father, who was paralyzed, would roll into and just say junk. 4.3 is 262. Okay, so the 4.3 is the 350. Dean Stevenson says 262 cube is a 4.3 even fire ship EP6. Yeah, I had one. I knew it was a shortened something small block. I was amazed how good that thing ran. I think I only had one problem with it one time. Kim's over there beating something up.
No, maybe.
Mexican Spec says, in my time, the gypsy would remove a vacuum hose on the Chrysler vans to make them smoke so you could get them cheaper. I'm not sure which hose. Paul Pajui, my 4.8 in my Sierra is a 292. Oh, that's an inline 6, right? That's the big inline 6. That's an engine people like, I think. Next, inspect the turbo Monte Carlo had a small bulge in the hood. Huh. Kevin Smith, he said bulge, yeah. Kim.
1 second.
Kim.
Yeah.
Can you come over here?
I gotta hit this a couple times.
You gotta hit it first. They're asking Mexican Spec if that turbo V6 in the Monte Carlo was only in Mexico.
What do you need?
Paul Pajui V8 small version of the 5.3. Can you? Oh, okay. It's that one. Okay. Can you? I just need you to take the helm here for a couple minutes.
Oh, yeah. That's not the same as coming from over here. It's...
Take the helm.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna scoot out of here for a couple minutes.
A couple minutes, okay. Yeah, I just.
Well, it's a little cold in here, and I was drinking a lot of liquid, you know.
I understand.
Oh.
It do be like that. All right. I gotta go, guys. This little.
Oh, it's warm over here. This feels
It is.
good.
It's really warm over there.
Oh, this stove feels good.
All right, who's here now? I'll bet you it's a whole different group.
Yeah, a whole bunch of people.
Fastang 89 come in and he is dominating some chat. They're talking about the different motor size. I heard you guys talking about those. Mexican Spec is still here. Paul Pajuli is still here. Tim is here. Had to take another smoke break. I think he had to take a pee break. I don't know if he's walking all the way over to the house or if he's just going to go find a tree. "1980 was the only year the Turbo 3.8 was offered in the Monte Carlo. I didn't realize that. They put the 3.8 in other things. Time to drain the main vein. Yeah. That's good. You don't want them to get dehydrated. That's bad. Dehydration. It's very important. If you're not peeing every once in a while, you're not drinking enough water. The Turbo Monty would have been really awesome, brand new. For the first 50, 60,000 miles, it probably ran amazing. It was probably a really good car. But you probably didn't want it after that. I don't know. They last longer than that, but I'll bet you after that it got real expensive. You know, cost of ownership does that bell curve as you get older. Sometimes he walks over to the house. It's not far. I don't know. I'm not, I guess gas mileage or emissions is why they went with the turbos, but why would you go with a turbo 3.8 when you could just get a 350? Doesn't it make more sense to get the V8? I never quite understood. I guess because it's a smaller, lighter package, and the turbos are cool. But the longevity of a naturally aspirated engine over a turbo engine, that sells me.
Hey, Kim.
Yeah.
Can I close the chimney down a little? Or do you want it wide open?
Oh, no, you can turn it down some. I didn't realize it was all the way open.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay.
I was in there poking. Mexican Sex says the Blue Book was a deduction for the turbo because nobody wanted them. I mean, I would rather have the 350 than the 3.8 turbo, I think. In a 1980 car, that's a big, heavy car. If it was a smaller, lighter car, the smaller, lighter engine with a turbo on it sounds like a balanced package. But in 1980, Monte Carlo was a full frame car. That's like a lot of... Kevin Smith says the Monte Carlos he owned weren't the best quality. I mean, they were Chevys. No one really wanted the 301 Pontiac Turbo either. Probably not. It probably wasn't a lot of people's first choice. And the only reason it's really valuable now is because it's so rare. It depends on how you take care of it. Absolutely. If you have a turbocharger, you got to make sure you keep your oil nice and clean and fresh. And you can use the turbocharger, but don't abuse the turbocharger. You know? Most people don't know how to care for a car properly. They just get in and drive until something goes wrong. They drive till the
And then they
lights.
drive a little longer.
Yeah, then they drive just a little further. And then they pull the dipstick and they're like, oh, wow, there's no oil in here. Oh, it was because of that cafe gross pollution They see all those things. They don't look past how much pollution is it to take that car and have to crush it up and melt it down and build a whole brand new car, compared to just building a V8. It pollutes a tiny bit more. I'm not saying don't build it good. I'm not saying don't build it good. Make it as best V8 you can, but building everything so it only lasts 5 years and then turns to garbage because it's got a zillion modules, that's not saving anybody any money. That's not saving the trees or the planet or any of that stuff. It's not. It's silliness. Not even silly. It's negligent. And then they mandate negligence for profit. And it's at some point it's criminal. At some point, I don't know what point that is, and I'm not in any position to enforce any of that. But at some point, it's criminal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm getting cold. We've been on here 3 hours.
Have we really? Oh goodness. Well, let's call it for the night. You guys, it's Friday night. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
We're gonna go home.
He's gonna go home.
I'm getting cold, and it's
Do you have a short for tomorrow morning?
We still got to record
he still has
shorts.
Work to do. He has to take that rear end apart so he can demonstrate that. We'll find something here.
I can't believe I got to do shorts right now. Okay.
Should have gotten rid of Chevy and kept Oldsmobile and Pontiac. That's a controversial take on the whole thing, Kevin. I don't know.
Oh, what am I going to do?
I don't know. We'll think of something. We're going to call it pretty quickly. We're not going to linger. No Tennessee goodbye tonight, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Everyone who is still here gets an additional point. And I thank you all. We will be back either, I don't know, we'll be back another night before
tomorrow or
Tuesday.
We'll
I'll have them put up a photo. Thanks everybody. Dish is coming out on his next day off. Good. I hope they can get things fixed.
Oh, good.